you go, dude, bro. Thought you footy boys wanted to have a little throw around the office.
Really?
Foul show. Foul show. Pretty cool boss, huh? Probably going to start calling me the man. The man. The man. Catch you in 20, brah.
Guys, Real Sport, Bar TV.
Australia's leading sports organisations have made a pledge to tackle youth binge drinking.
Now when you're watching your favourite sports, like football,
swimming, basketball,
netball
and athletics,
you'll see this logo.
It's all about coming together to have a positive influence on our drinking culture.
We're strong enough to say enough.
And you can be too.
Back your judgment.
Stand up for what you believe in.
Be the influence.
Real Guys, Real Sport, Bar TV.
Hello and welcome back to North Dalton Park on this Cricket Illawarra T20 Grand Final Day. Our Bar TV Sports coverage powered by Johnson Legal. Travis Winks from 96.5 Wave FM in commentary with you this afternoon alongside Brett Murphy from the Northern Districts Cricket Club. G'day, Brett.
G'day, Travis. How are you, mate?
Mate, going well. You must be smiling from ear to ear after your fourths and your seconds claimed their grand final victories earlier today.
Yeah, what a great day so far for the Butchers. The fourth Gold Boys getting up in a tight one, and second grade finally getting over Kira after 3 tries at it, so the boys are really pumped about that.
Yeah, a 4-run victory by Northern Districts in the second grade final. Cottam man of the match. We'll talk more about that as our first grade final gets underway. And from the Helensburgh Tigers Cricket Club, back in commentary for the second straight year, Sean Mullally. Good to see you again, Sean.
How's it going, Trav? Good to be back. I was very excited to be coming back again this year, so had a lot of fun last year. Thought we'd give it another go.
Absolutely, and different combatants this time around. Helensburgh back again, but this time last year we were talking about the Corrimal Cougars, who ended up victorious in that grand final. Corrimal 7 wicket victors, only chasing 96, which we've seen already this afternoon that scores around 90 are quite hard to chase down. This time round, it's Northern Districts up against the Helensburgh Tigers. And Brett, the Butchers today, they have won the toss and elected to bowl.
Yeah, Captain Salakis has said over the last few weeks in the semi-final and in the last 3 games they won on the trot, they've preferred to chase, keep the total down, and they've actually chased a couple of bigger totals with Lockie Dunn getting some good runs at the top of the order for them.
So Banfield opening the bowling for Northern Districts, and Sean opening up the batting for the Tigers this afternoon.
So this afternoon we've got Nathan Marciani, who just got off the mark with a nice little 2 through mid-wicket. At the other end we've got our Irish import Stephen Bunting opening up, a left-hander who likes to hit the ball far and hard if he can. Marciani to face and just defending away at that one.
You can certainly see the step up in first grade all of a sudden, just with the speed of the delivery and the stroke play. This should be a really intriguing battle. Helensburgh on paper, and Brett, I don't think you'll have any issues with me saying this, on paper should win this match, Sean.
On paper they should, and if you go by recent season's form, as we said before, last year's grand finalists in the T20, also finalists in the regular competition. We've got several guys in this team today that have made their Illawarra side earlier this year and in the previous years, so there is a lot of talent in the team, but 2020 is a funny game. Anything can sort of happen on the day. All you need is a couple of good performances and you never know what's going to happen.
And Brett, this Butchers outfit, they really have matured this summer.
Yeah, definitely. I think a few of the younger guys have started to step up now. They've been up in first grade for a few years now and they're really starting to produce and show what they can really do. So guys like Dunn, Brancato, we've got a Pommy recruit as well, Jake Reynolds from Disley over there. And Jamel's been around bowling now for a long time, been a very good bowler in first grade for a number of years now.
Well, you mentioned Dunn. He's scored a handful of half centuries. He's been very, very impressive. The Butchers, funnily enough, chasing their 5th straight win in this competition. They didn't start that great in the T20 competition, but geez, they've come good at the right time of the season, Brett.
Yeah, they lost the first 2 there and it wasn't looking great, but after the Christmas break they really dug in and had quite a few good victories over a few top sides, so hopefully they can step up today, and I know they're all pumped and try and knock off this strong Tigers side.
And Sean, the disappointment of 12 months ago, big appeal there, but no, nothing eventuates. The Tigers, 12 months ago, it was disappointment after that loss to the Cougars, and the 2020 title is something that has eluded them in recent years, and being quite an accomplished first grade unit. What do you think that is?
I think it's just sort of the time of year probably has something to do with it, going into sort of just before Christmas and just afterwards. We have a few blokes with families and things like that tend to go away over that time, and we might not get our full-strength side on the park. We've seen that we've gotten good performances, grand finalists last year, and obviously making it here again this year. I think it's just a matter of not putting our best performances out there at the right time.
Completion of the first over, and the Tigers none for 2. Now, the thing with Helensburgh is they won Pool B. They've only had one loss all summer. Who was that loss against?
So they lost to Port Kembla on the last day of the competition, first game. They just couldn't chase the runs down. It wasn't that they lost any. They didn't lose all their wickets. Just literally couldn't chase down the runs on a bit of a slow deck, from what I hear. So the boys were a little bit disappointed, but they made up for it later in the day against Kira, making sure that they won 4 out of their 5 games before the finals.
And of course, the road to the grand final for the Northern Districts Cricket Club. They beat Port by 9 wickets in that semi. They chased down 137 runs, and they did it fairly easily, Brett.
Yeah, again, Lockie Dunn just went off last week. He 88 off 44 balls. And Captain Salakis hit 40-odd as well at a runner ball. So they do prefer to chase, so it's probably a good result to win the toss here.
Yeah, it's interesting that you do say that they like to chase. From memory, they're on a 4-game winning streak at the moment. They've batted second, haven't they, in all 4 of those wins?
Yeah, all the wins they've chased, so it's a good theory for them. It's worked out well so far, so they wanted to continue.
Could be an omen that eventuates positively for the Butchers this afternoon. Sean, if Helensburgh had their way, what do you think they would have done at the toss?
I think they would have been doing what we're probably doing right now, putting runs on the board. It's always hard in finals games to chase down. While in T20 we've seen that blokes like chasing down and knowing what they need to go at. I think in finals games we tend to like putting those runs on the board, and we've got the bowlers that we know can back it up in the second innings and bowl to a plan, keep the runs down, and hopefully put some scoreboard pressure on in that second innings.
Hey, Brett, who should we be looking out for in the Thurul lineup this afternoon?
In terms of bowling, this is Mark Ralston into the attack here, the president of our club as well, affectionately known as President Pie Chucker, but he seems to be going all right here. Good start, a couple of dots, hitting a good length. Jamal Banfield, the opening bowler, is probably the pick of the bowlers. And in terms of the bat, you've got to look out for Dunn. He's just so explosive at the top of the order. He's a key to our chase, and also Salakis is very consistent. As well as our English import, Jake Reynolds. He's been scoring a few runs this year, a lot more than our old import, Andrew Clark, who I know is watching over in Disley there in the UK.
Well, we do know that we've got some international viewers this afternoon. We've got one cricket fan over in the USA having a look at our Bar TV sports coverage powered by Johnson Legal. So thanks for spreading the word of the game of cricket over in North America, because we do believe that via that gentleman's Facebook page, he's trying to explain to his American friends exactly what is happening here in the beautiful Illawarra this afternoon. It is our T20 Cricket Illawarra Grand Final day. Earlier, Thurul won 4th grade with a victory over Kira. They needed 1 run off the last ball, and the Butchers did the business. In 3rd grade, it was West Illawarra, far too good for Corrimal. In 2nd grade, Thurul claimed their 2nd premiership of the afternoon with a 4-run victory over Kira. And now we have the 1st grade final, the mouth-watering matchup between Helensburgh and Thurul. You've got Travis Winks, Sean Mullally and Brett Murphy in commentary this afternoon. You can tweet to us at cricket_Illawarra at any time. We'll have a look at those progressively across the afternoon. And boys, there was the chance of a shower, possibly a thunderstorm later this afternoon, but there's a little bit of weather out off the coast because for those of you that aren't from the Illawarra, we're probably about 200 metres from the beach, but there's some weather that's moving east, so out to the ocean, and there is a storm in the outback at the moment, which is slowly making its way across to Wagga Wagga, which if it does get to us, it might come a lot later this evening.
No, hopefully we can get another uninterrupted final. Last year I think there was a little bit of weather around as well, so we'd like another full 20 overs of each side. You only need 5 overs each team to make a game in 2020, but if we can get 20 overs of good quality cricket from both sides, it'd make the day a lot more interesting.
Yeah, definitely. It's actually not bad conditions at the moment for playing. It's a bit cooler with the cloud cover now, so it wouldn't be too bad out in the middle there. It was pretty hot earlier today with the sun beaming down.
Yeah, suck a little bit of that moisture out. The outfield is incredibly slow. We saw a number of batsmen in the 2nd grade final get denied what would have been certain boundaries because of the slow outfield here at North Dalton Park. But Sean, how do you think this wicket is going to play now that it's the 3rd game of the day?
It's going to slow down, like most decks you'd assume. As the day gets on, it's going to slow up a little bit. We've seen already the pace not exactly coming right onto the ball. Nathan Marciani having to just sort of push and nudge at the start, not being able to free his hands up and strike right through the line. So a little bit slower at the back end of the day. However, North Dalton always produces a real quality wicket, so I think it's going to be good for both sides. With Stephen Bunting getting off the mark. Great shot through the covers.
That might run for 4, and it does, and that's a rare boundary. Look, we know that the ball is going to come onto the bat a little bit better in 1st grade. There's a little bit more speed to burn, and that was a glorious stroke from Stephen Bunting. Boundaries have been scarce all afternoon, but that's a handy one early on.
No, it's good, and it's also good for Bunners to get himself off the mark that way. It's a nice classical cover drive from him straight along the deck. I'm sure he'll take a lot of confidence from that, and that'll get his innings going here. He'll love to see that early on.
Yeah, probably just a bit full from Jamal there. He likes to get it up there and try and swing the ball around, but Bunting liked him.
Oh, chance of a mix-up, and they're in trouble. And Bunting has run himself out, and he slaps his bat on his pads because he knows that is a very, very big mistake, Sean Mullally.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's not what you want in your first 6 overs. If the Tigers could have gone through with no wickets down, they'd be very happy. And also, you never want to get yourself out that way, run out. What a horrible way to go. Unfortunately, a bit of a mix-up there between Bunners and Nathan Doorknob Marcianti. So, unfortunately, Bunting's got to go. We've got Hayden McRae coming in to bat now for the Helensburgh Tigers in the yellow helmet. Little pocket rocket special. He's going to come in and he's going to try and consolidate at first, I'm sure, but then we're going to see some big hitting if he can make his way in.
And the Johnson Legal replay, Northern Districts kept their composure there, Brett.
Yeah, very calm. Great work from Justin Brancato with the gloves there. Kept his cool, as you said, and just underarmed it into Reece Marsh there to take the bails off to complete a simple run-out in the end after the mix-up.
Well, the Butchers won the toss and elected to bowl, and the first wicket eventuates from a run-out. It doesn't matter how you get them. It's all about pressure in T20 cricket, and Thurul were very, very calm there. As soon as there was an opportunity, they struck.
Yeah, they spoke about that, I know, before the game, being really good in the field and keeping calm. Can be quite nerve-wracking out there in a final on the big day, so just for the boys to do what they normally do and not be affected by that pressure is great to see them put it into practice so early in the game.
McRae off the mark. So, Sean, bring us up to speed on McRae's T20 form to date.
McRae's T20 form, it's probably not quite up to his regular season form. In the normal two-day comp, he's gone 3 centuries already this season, so he hasn't quite got him firing yet for the Tigers in the T20 format. He's going a few 20s and 30s, but I'm sure he'd like to have the full amount of overs that he's got here today to really get set and have a big one for himself.
Is he a batsman that builds his innings? Is that why T20 hasn't, produced the runs?
It just sort of depends what kind of person turns up on the day from Spesh. Some days he'll come out and he'll just blaze away and he'll get to 20 off a few balls and he'll just be away from him and he'll keep going. Other days he'll be a bit more conservative and sort of work his way in, which we saw in the semi-final where he got 38 not out. He just sort of worked it around, made his way in and fitted the situation, but it can go either way with Hayden. If he wants to start having a dip early on, he's going to, that's for sure.
Yeah, and you mentioned McRae's performance in that semi-final victory over Corrimal a couple of weeks ago. It was a 6-wicket win, but Ben Marcianti, he scored 31 on that day as well, so the Marciantis very crucial to Helensburgh.
Absolutely, Marcianti brothers have been a big piece of the puzzle for the Tigers as they scurry through for a neat little 2. The Marciani, since we've got the brother double from last year, it's definitely been a big positive for the Tigers. Nathan was the T20 player for the club last year and the player of the year for the whole season for the club. So big things from both Marciani brothers, and I'm sure they won't be too worried about the weight on their shoulders.
No, well, they're certainly just going to have to consolidate here at the moment, Helensburgh, after that earlier run out of Stephen Bunting. It was a bit of a poor decision there from the big Tiger.
Yeah, probably just not enough communication there. He's taken off without really speaking to his partner at the other end from what it looks like, and a bit eager, and the nerves probably just get to you in these sort of games. You want to get up and scoring, you want to get moving, you want to get the runs on the board quickly, and yeah, when you hit it straight to a fielder, probably not the best time to run.
So Brett Ralston is back in commission for his second over. What will be the go here? Will these guys bowl only 2, or will they go the third, possibly even bowl out?
Oh, I think Jane will probably bowl a third, or he might hold a couple up his sleeve for the end, but Ralston will probably tire after this one and he'll need to come off, so I'd say this will be the end of him after this. But his first over only went for a couple, so the way he's bowling, you might be tempted to keep him on and push through the fatigue. The big Clydesdale tires pretty easily out there.
Some tall timber as he comes in from the city end. And a play and a miss there from Nathan Marcianti.
Just struggling to get started here. He's just sort of pushing and nudging around a little bit at the moment. Poor old Doorknob. He's Nathan's, you could probably understand why he's nicknamed that just by calling him the Doorknob. If you saw the tattoo that he got on his wrist on Christmas Eve, Trav, you'd probably understand why we've given him that. He's decided to get his favourite alcoholic beverage tattooed on his wrist, a nice green can tattooed right on his wrist. Not very small, quite big.
Not a VB.
Yeah, very best he says it, but tell you what, that tattoo's far from that.
Wow, there's a bit of a Christmas present for himself, eh?
Yeah, I'm sure he was really happy with when he woke up with that on Christmas Day.
Well, there could be some more tattoos inked onto some of these players' bodies either later tonight or early tomorrow morning. It could be a really historic day for the Northern Districts Cricket Club. In 3 of the 4 grand finals today, they're already 2 from 2. And Brett, there must be a really good vibe amongst the Butchers fraternity.
Yeah, mate, it's a really good atmosphere down there. Just sitting there before, we've got all the 3 grades down there and a lot of supporters as well. I think the fourth grade boys are probably more inclined to be tattooing rather than these first graders. They're mostly clean skins out there.
Apparently they'll be in bed by 8 p.m, the fourth graders. That was a quality boundary there from Nathan Marcianti, by the way.
Yeah, just slapping it through point. He really loves to just let his hands go free there and let his wrist do all the work on most of his shots. When he gets onto them, they stay gone, that's for sure. If you can get one in the slot here, you're going to be chasing it over the fence up onto that hill over there.
Well, it'd be nice to see some sixes this afternoon because we've been denied by this slow outfield of some boundaries in the earlier matches, but already we've seen a couple of fours, which is good.
Because it could be a sign too. The ground's drying out a bit, I think.
Yeah, well, I'd like to see a score over 100. That'd be wonderful. I mean, Brett, where do you think the score is in this match?
Yeah, I think around that 120 is probably a good score for the Tigers here. They'll be happy with that. And I think that'll be a really even game. That'll be a good chase. Any more than that, and you're starting to get up there a little bit in the run rate with this ground. But I think they've had a solid start here. They're up to 20 in the fourth over, so they do bat deep, the Tigers. So there's a lot of runs to come in the last 10 overs.
You think 120 will be enough, Sean?
Yeah, you always sort of aim for that runner ball sort of mark in T20. 120, slow outfield. Deck's going to get a little bit slower as the day goes on. So I think 120 definitely is par on this pitch. And with the bowling attack that the Tigers have got, they'll back themselves as Nathan Marcianti nicks off there, trying to pull the ball.
Caught behind.
Yep, caught Brancato bowled Ralston. So the gamble's paid off. They've stuck with him after his good first over. And he's hit the spot again there, Ralston. Got the edge, and the dangerous Marciani departs.
2 for 19, the Helensburgh Tigers. Sean.
Yeah, probably not the best. Well, he's trying to up the tempo there, obviously. Nathan, he probably doesn't feel like he's scoring as freely as he'd like to. It's just tried to go, as we look at the Johnson legal replay, he's going to try and play this short ball and just doesn't quite get up high enough. Takes that top edge and a nice simple catch for the keeper, which are always going to love those ones, straight in the mitts. But Matt Ward coming in now to bat with Hayden McRae, another Illawarra representative for the Tigers, played for the Illawarra Flames in the Plan B regional bash earlier this season.
Yep.
So I know that was covered on Bar TV out at the SCG when the Flames made the finals day out there. So Matt Ward, a member of that squad, he's coming in, a very handy batsman, and he's one of the quickest people between wickets you'll ever see. So be sure to see some good running between wickets between himself and McRae here.
So Banfield will continue into his third here. I'm sure Salakis is thinking with a couple of new batsmen out there, it's a good chance to strike early here and nick another one off here and really put the pressure on that middle order of the Tigers. He's a strike bowler of the team. We can probably throw to an ad break on his run up. But whatever works for him, I suppose.
Helensburgh need to consolidate here after 2 early wickets.
Hayden McRae facing up here now, just about to take on Banfield. Let's see if he's going to open up. Nope, just nudges it away, just still finding his way into the innings here, Hayden. Obviously a couple of early wickets, probably keeping the boys a little bit wary now. So they're going to build themselves in and work their way into this innings, these two, I'm sure. But then if we can have some wickets in the bank towards the back end of the innings, don't worry, they'll definitely be able to let go and really unleash.
Yeah, that they will. Helensburgh 2 for 19. After 4 overs, and it's been a sluggish start here. Thurul have got to be feeling pretty good about themselves at this point, Brett.
Yeah, those couple of early wickets really turn it in the Butchers' favour at the moment, I think. They just got to keep that pressure on, and I think that's what's behind Banfield staying on here.
It's a good type.
Sorry, Sean. I think the Butchers are a bowler down today with Josh Collimer injured his hamstring in yesterday's game, so he'll be just playing as a batsman. But they have got a few handy options of all-rounders that can come in and do the job as well. So they want to get as many out of the strike bowler as they can, as many wickets.
Beautiful afternoon here at North Dalton Park. A bit of cloud coverage at the moment, which takes the sting out of the sun, which I think would be welcomed by both teams. It was quite warm earlier on in the second and third grade finals, and a quick single there. And that's what they're going to have to do, just keep ticking that scoreboard over.
That's the thing. You can't let the scoreboard pressure get to you. A few dot balls, when you're out there in the field, you feel like they're absolute gems. If you get a few dot balls in a row, start building that pressure on the batsman. But all these Tigers batters have got to do right now, don't let those dot balls get to them. Just try and keep the runs ticking over. Get that single every ball or so and just turn that strike over. Keep the scoreboard ticking, and you know what? Eventually, you're going to build up. You're going to get that loose ball, and you never know what's going to happen. You can free your hands and get that boundary that'll relieve a bit of pressure.
So Ward's on strike now. What's his summer been like to date?
Been probably a summer of not too many opportunities so far for Matt. The top order's been doing a lot of good work for the Tigers, but whenever he's been called on, he's definitely been very handy for the Tigers. Chipping in every now and then, getting his 30s, 40s, 50s. He's just been sticking around, doing the hard work. He's a very reliable person, not one to give away his wicket cheaply, or he puts a lot of onus on it. So Matt's going to dig in here, and he's going to do exactly what he knows he needs to in this game for the Tigers. Perfect batsman in T20. Loves his runs ticking over, loves quick singles and running hard between wickets to maximise every shot he possibly can. Hayden McRae just pushing it through the leg side there.
Very
Matt
calmly.
Ward coming back for 2. That's that fast, quick running that I'm talking about. He loves putting pressure on that fielder.
That is definitely what they need to do, Helensburgh. 1s and 2s just to consolidate at this point after losing both of their openers. Stephen Bunting was run out, was 1 for 9, and then Nathan Marcianti. Ralston picked up the wicket, and they were 2 for 19. And after 5 overs now, the Tigers are 2 for 23.
And it looks like Ralston will continue here as well. He must have got a bit of extra energy out of that wicket last over. But I'm sure by the end of this, he'll be huffing and puffing.
He does look like he's puffing a little bit there at the top of his run.
Hands on the hips already, yeah.
I tell you what, but if he delivers like he did in the last over, Brett,
yeah,
it's all worth it.
I think that wicket has given that energy boost he needs, and he's pumped up the big fella. He gets fired up out there, so don't be surprised to see a few words coming too.
He's getting a little bit hot, does he?
Yeah, he can get a little bit hot under the collar occasionally. Not over the top or anything, but he fires up out there, that's for sure.
No, I'll back that up. I've been on the end of a Mark Ralston spray before. I'm going to admit I'm not anywhere near a good batsman. Far from it. And I think the frustration of me playing and missing in about 30 balls in a row was just too much for Mark one day, and he's just given me an absolute spray. Nothing over the top, just letting me know that, you know what, I'm not much chop, and he's not far from the truth there.
Well, he's bowled back-to-back wides here, so I reckon I could guess what he's saying to himself right now, Brett.
Yeah, it wouldn't be anything we could repeat on air here, but that could be the fatigue setting in, I think. He does like to put in 110%, but it hits him pretty quick, so hopefully he can come back and hit that length again, build up those dots, and that's what brought about the wicket of Marcianti, just that pressure, so got to get back on his spot here.
It's always hard in T20 as well if you take a wicket in 1 over, generally in the longer formats of the game, as Ward scurries through for a quick single there.
Yeah, good cricket.
But it's tough in the longer formats of the game. Usually you take a wicket, you keep your bowler on, and you let him continue, you reward them for getting that breakthrough. But in T20 cricket, with such short overs and not much to work with for each bowler, it's sort of a tough game where you figure, well, yes, they took a wicket last over, but do you keep them going? And in this instance, it might have been time to give Ralston a bit of a rest, but let's hope I haven't given the commentators curse and see him knock over Hayden McRae here.
Well, there's been a few of those curses this afternoon already on our Bar TV Sports coverage powered by Johnson Legal. Cricket Illawarra T20 Grand Final Day from North Dalton Park. You've got Travis Winks, Brett Murphy from the Thurrool Cricket Club and Sean Mullally from Helensburgh in commentary this afternoon. We hope you're enjoying it on our live stream. All available on YouTube at the completion of the match as well. You can check out our second grade coverage right now on YouTube. Just hit the Cricket Illawarra Facebook page or Cricket Illawarra website for all the details. And things have slowed down here at North Dalton, Brett.
Yeah, it's just a bit of a lull's come over the game. It's slowing down a bit. A few wides does that, I think. Both sort of, the batsmen can't get into a groove and the fielding team drops a bit. But the boys picked up a bit here. They're a bit of noise now, which they need. Pick up the chat in the field and pick up another wicket here.
Do you think, like we're talking about bowlers in T20 cricket, do you reckon because it's more explosive, they burn more energy in their overs?
Absolutely. You know you've only got 4 overs, especially for the fast bowlers. If you've only got 4 overs, you know you can run in and absolutely rip in as hard as you can and get the most out of yourself. So you never know. You're going to get a bit of overexertion from the bowlers maybe at times, and you're going to put in that bit too much effort, and You might see a few wides like we have this over, but it's all worth it at the end. If you can get that extra couple of yards of pace over those 4 overs, it's definitely what the bowler's aiming for.
So this is the first grade final between the Northern Districts Cricket Club and the Helensburgh Tigers. Northern Districts, they were victorious in 4th grade earlier today. We caught up with one of their campaigners who sat out today's victory, Paul Partland. In 2nd grade, Northern Districts got the victory by 4 runs over the Kira Lions. Cottam was man of the match in that. But just popping up to the Bar TV Sports commentary box right now is Jack Dobinson from the Kira Lions, mate. You guys had a very big opportunity to win your 3rd successive 2nd grade title, but you just lost your way, particularly after you and then Theo departed.
Yeah. We kind of blew it towards the end there, I guess. We need a bit more bat on ball stuff. I think some guys like myself struggle a bit with our fitness, and I think if you could get off strike, it would have been an easy victory towards the end. But the district's guys bowled quite well. So got to hand it to them. But it was a good fun game, actually. It was good, close finish, but definitely left it too many runs to get in that last over.
Dobbo, you batted very, very well this afternoon. I mean, we were paying you out in the field because you didn't do much apart from just return the ball back to the bowler, but you came out and you batted and you were denied a couple of boundaries. You batted very well.
Yeah, I'm one of the worst runners between wickets the association has ever seen, so my heart sunk every time I saw I had to run a 2 or 3, and I think that's why I ran past that one I got bowled on. But it was good to get a few away, but I think maybe if I batted 1 or 2 more overs or, hit the treadmill a bit harder, I might have been able to get us home.
Now, Graham Simsey, the captain for the Thirroul 2nd grade team, mate, he was instrumental. So too was Cottam and also Pryor. We're calling this 1st grade match now. Like, how's the deck playing?
I think if you can take the pace off the ball, I think that helps. So I think those kind of guys that are bowling those slow meds and, moving a little bit off the pitch or a little bit in the air, you got to kind of make your own pace. With a slow outfield, you can just set a ring there. Makes it tough to score, and then you got to go over the top, take the risks. So I think, the way they bowled, bowling a bit slower through the air was actually harder to score, whereas if guys are charging in, like Banfield bowls, he's bowling tight lines, but if they get onto him, they're probably a bit easier to hit a 4, or at least get close to the boundary like this one.
Yeah, that's what you did to us, Dobbo.
Yeah,
make it.
Flirting with the boundary all day. It's good they brought the boundaries in, though, because otherwise I don't think anyone would have hit one all day. So
Now, the other thing in 2nd grade, your keeper, Stacey, mate, he had an absolute blinder. He was very impressive.
Yeah, he's good with the gloves. We liken him to Nitro off the shack if you're in the kids' shows. Loves the dreadlocks. If he got a few away towards the end, well, I reckon we would have had it. But unfortunately, he skied one. But yeah, he's handy with the gloves. Good all-round athlete, that bloke.
So big afternoon ahead at the Wiseman Park Bowling Club for the Kira Lions?
I think a few of the boys have run off because we went down. There's a few sticking around. A few of the older guys will. We're pretty keen to watch the 1st grade game and see if Districts can maybe make it 3, and then off to Wiseau's Bolo. Always a great sponsor.
Sensational, Jack. Well, mate, I'm sure you will be sharing some of the highlights from 2nd grade on your Facebook page. Some of your hits will go viral, I'm sure, across the Illawarra, mate. And unfortunately, Kira unlucky in the 2nd grade final, but it was a good battle against the rule.
Yeah. I think what I'll do is Facebook has that new feature. I think you can put a video as your profile. And I think I'm going to get that one I hit for 4. I'll get that up the Savo. Cheers, Trav.
Good on you. Jack Dobinson there from the Kira Lions Cricket Club. They went down to Northern Districts in 2nd grade. The Butchers 4-run victors. Cottam, man of the match, and Mark Cottam, he's just the complete cricketer, isn't he?
Yeah, he's always had that knack to come on with bowling his little left arm nudes and just pick up a wicket when we really need it. And we saw that today. He's probably the 5th, 6th bowling option and came on and took 2 or 3 wickets when we really needed it and turned the game right back in our favour. So good on Cotto. He's been a good clubman for a number of years, and I'm sure he'll be celebrating hard tonight.
Sean, definitely slow going here for the Tigers at the moment.
Yeah, just struggling to really find the gap here at the moment. However, Hayden McRae's absolutely melted that down the ground. Loves the straight one. Is it going to roll?
It
yep.
should. It
rolls
should.
all the way for 4 there. picture perfect straight drive. But yeah, they've just been struggling to hit the gaps a little bit up until that shot, just picking out a fielder every now and then, which it's nothing more infuriating than getting it out of the middle of the bat and seeing it roll straight to a fielder. So they've just got to keep ticking it over. We've said it a few times, get those singles and those twos, run hard between wickets, and you'll get that loose delivery like we've seen there, and really got to make it pay when you get that one in the slot.
Well, they're building a partnership, McRae and Ward, because the Tigers slumped to 2 for 19 after 4 overs, so they've steadied the ship.
Yeah, slowly getting there. They'll work their way in. These two love batting together because they're probably the two fastest blokes in the club. They're going to just keep pushing each other, and they'll make every single centimetre of this big oval useful to themselves. If it finds that gap, watch them sprint that first run because they're going to be coming back for 2 as much as they can.
So Banfield's bowling out here.
Yeah, he's kept him on here. It hasn't really worked out, just the pace of the ball. They've been able to get him away for a couple of boundaries here. I probably would have kept one up his sleeve at the death. He's got a good Yorker on him. But Salakis will have a plan knowing him. He's a smart man. Good cricketing brain on him, so he'll be thinking about what's happening, and he would have thought this is the best way to go at this time, so we'll see.
And Salakis has been full of praise for his squad. He's really rated the way that they've developed this summer, but he's been very, very complimentary of Helensburgh, saying that they are the best team on paper, Brett.
Yeah, you have to agree with him, don't you? I mean, you look at their record over the last few years and the players they've got there, you can't argue with the fact that on paper they're the best team going around in the comp. So we've just got to hope someone can stand up here and knock a few more over, and you never know. Could be a good day for the Butchers. So it will be a change of bowler here. I noticed Ralston did leave the field. Probably sucking in the big ones in the sheds as we speak, but looks like it's going to be Josh Colmer bowling. I think I said earlier that he wasn't going to bowl today. He told me he was very limited with his hamstring, but he's a handy medium pacer, Josh. He bowls a heavy ball, as they say. He's a lot quicker than you think.
Yeah, so what's the story with his hemi? How long's that been annoying him for?
It was only yesterday, actually. In the game yesterday, they got on against Uni and he was batting and just took off for a run and just twinged the hammy there and need to have a runner there. But must be feeling all right. But he's coming off the short run, so I think it will impede him a little bit.
Very short run. So, Sean, we've mentioned the rule skipper Salakis wrapping Helensburgh. How do the Tigers take that wrap? Because they're entitled to receive those sorts of compliments.
They probably are entitled to receive those compliments. They've been very successful over the last 3-4 seasons, the Tigers, but I think the boys are going to be obviously very humble in taking that. We never like getting ahead of ourselves. We know that there's a lot of quality cricket in this Illawarra first grade comp at the moment. I mean, it's such a tight comp at the moment between NDs, Corrimal, Bally, ourselves, Uni. Everyone's sort of right up there at the moment, and each club has a whole bunch of handy players. I mean, Lockie Dunsby for Northern Districts has just been an absolute red-hot form in this T20 series. So we'll take the compliments on board. They'll enjoy them. I'm sure a couple of blokes will like the little pat on the back and the boost of their ego. They'll fluff themselves up and walk a little bit taller for a little bit, I'm sure, especially the blokes that might have gone to rap on TV or on here so far. But no, they'll take it in their stride, and I'm sure they'll respect our opponents at the same time.
Seems to me that the rules really push back their field here. Why would they do that, Brett?
I think just to prevent those boundaries. The boys, these two are hitting them quite well now, and they've got a few away, so just minimise those boundary balls and keep it to one. I think they'll be happy with that. As you said earlier, they've been happy chasing 140, 150, so if they can keep it to a runner ball from here, they'll probably be happy with that and back themselves to get it in the chase.
Yeah, the Butchers won the toss and elected to bowl earlier. It's the Cricket Illawarra first grade T20 final, and we've got a wicket.
Yeah, Matt Ward just holding out to the short mid wicket there. That short ball, just skinning on and getting on him a little bit quicker than he probably was expecting. So he's just short arm jabbed at that, popped it straight to the fielder at short mid wicket, and the change of bowling brings the breakthrough that Northern Districts were looking for.
Colmer's got the breakthrough.
Yeah, Colmer's got it. As I said, he just skids on a little bit quicker than you expect, and it worked there, and a good catch by the skipper Salakis at mid wicket. He's just got his safe pair of hands there, so that's the wicket they needed just to stop the momentum a little bit. And it will be a double change here. Neil Ryan coming on from the northern end. He bowls some good off spin.
Yep. And we've got Ben Marciani, the captain, striding out to the crease, the big, tall left-hander, joining up with his partner from the semi-final, Hayden McRae, in a pretty similar position, to be honest, to the last game. So these two will look to build another successful partnership. But as we highlighted earlier on, Ben Marciani, one of the Marciani brothers, who plays a big role in this first-grade side. So it's probably even pegging at the moment, only going at about 5 runs and over, but 3 wickets down as well. So Northern Districts are right in it, but again, Helensburgh just going to have to consolidate here, make the most of the 5 fielders that Northern Districts are offering out of the boundary and just tick that scoreboard over.
Yep, so Neil Ryan, what's his summer been like to date, Brett?
Yeah, pretty good. He's picked up a lot of wickets so far. He generally doesn't go a game without a wicket or two. He's a pretty consistent bowler. Won't give you too much width or drop short too much. So I think today he'll be trying to bowl pretty quick though. Dart him in there and nice and full and straight, I think. Don't give him anything to get under.
Little appeal there. McRae would have had a little bit of a nervous second or two, and they scamper through for the single, the Tigers.
Obviously not rating the pace of the bowlers at the moment. Hayden McRae chose to take his helmet off here. A little bit of arrogance, maybe his older brother might say. Mitch, his older brother, currently over in Argentina, visiting his long-distance girlfriend. We'll give a little bit of shout-out to Mitch because I know he's watching at the moment. He's been messaging a few of the boys, commenting on the Bar TV coverage. He's enjoying his overseas holiday, obviously, sitting in front of a computer, watching Illawarra Cricket Grand Final, but good on him for supporting the boys, and I'm sure he'll be there cheering on little brother as Marciani gets off the mark with a nice little quick single.
Tweet away at cricket_Illawarra. That's the Twitter handle. It's the Cricket Illawarra first grade grand final. Northern Districts up against the Helensburgh Tigers from North Dalton Park, Ferry Meadow. Our Bar TV sports coverage powered by Johnson Legal. And it's Neil Ryan bowling to McRae, who picks up another single, and the scoreboard just ticking over very slowly, boys.
Yep, just as we keep saying, find the runs where you can, hit those gaps, push the singles, get your twos when you can, hit that gap a little bit between the two fielders out in the deep, and the boys just got to keep working away as Marciani edges that one down there. Is he going to come back for two?
Has to come back for two.
Has to come back.
And does easily.
Yeah, Coleman just struggling a bit on that chase there with his hamstring.
You can see he is labouring.
Yeah, he is. So hopefully it doesn't affect his bowling because I think they'll need a few more overs out of him, especially after that good first one he just had.
Nothing worse than doing a hamstring. I had the privilege of playing in a stumping serious diseases match at University of Wollongong was the day that Adam Gilchrist's World 11 took on Sir Viv Richards' World 11, and I was in the earlier match with the likes of Dan Hunt and Jamie Soward and Beau Ryan and Wendell Saylor and Mark Callahan from Gangajang, and I kid you not, I went and chased a ball I was fielding in the slips, got past me, chased it, and snappity snap, don't come back. It was a grade 2. I was iced up. That was the end of me. And I was actually mic'd up at the time too. It was highly embarrassing. It was James Brayshaw and Tim Gilbert in commentary, and it was one of the most embarrassing moments I've ever had. So the problem with a hamstring is when you do it and then you think you're good again, you never have 100% confidence that you're right. Now, if he twinged that yesterday, he will nurse this all afternoon.
Yeah, he's a pretty tough fellow though, Josh. I think he's happy to play through it.
He's just limping away, trying to pick up. I mean, he's committed. But I can feel his pain right now because if it goes, he's gone.
Yeah, he can't be far off here, and he said he was very limited in his movement, so maybe Salakis wants 2 overs out of him and then he might have a rest, but we'll have to wait and see.
So what's the go with Coleman with the bat?
Coleman's an excellent batsman. He came down from Sydney Uni Club a few years ago and hits the ball very, very hard. I haven't seen anyone hit the ball that hard, mostly along the ground, but he can hit a big 6 too. So he's a very dangerous player. He scored 100 against Kira earlier this year off about 40 balls in the second innings to set up an outright situation, so can be very dangerous when he gets going, Josh. Especially today, I think you'll see with the hamstring there won't be many quick singles from him.
He might have got a wicket here,
Coleman.
He can jump all right in celebration.
Absolutely, that'll fire him up. He forgot about his hammy then, didn't he? He loved it. Another tickle through to Brancato, so and the keepers again having a good day here.
They are indeed.
Ben Marciani departing there, trying to get his hands free on that one and just swipe away outside that off stump. Gets a little tickle through the keeper, and Johnson Legal replay we see here. Nice easy catch there for the keeper once again. Marciani trudging off slowly here. He's really going to be disappointing with himself, the captain there, but we've got Ryan Morris striding out to the crease now, the Helensburgh part-time keeper, part-time off-spinner, part-time wing-eating champion I think we discussed last year.
Yeah, so has he bettered his mark?
Oh, I don't think he's made the attempt yet to better the mark on the wing record yet. We might have to, if they get the win up tonight, that might be his treat. We might take him down there on a Wednesday night and see if he can better his record.
I could go a bucket of chicken wings right now.
Oh, it'd be wonderful, wouldn't it? Maybe the kind covered in 11 herbs and spices, some tasty, nice, hot wings.
You haven't checked out the meadery up at City Beach. They do some all right wings. Amigos has got good wings too. I mentioned that last year.
Yeah, Amigo has great wings. I had the pleasure of polishing a few of those things off, though. It went a little bit cocky, though. Got the hot, spicy buffalo ones. And when you pull up on the cheap wing night, get 20 of them, think, oh, yeah, I'll get my value for money here. But once that mouth starts burning, there's not much you can do about it.
Yeah, and you know what? You got to watch the sauce coverage as well.
Absolutely. If there's too much sauce, not enough meat, you start getting a little bit overwhelmed. You're not really enjoying it as much as you probably should. But you know what? We'll try and stop talking about wings because I'm getting really hungry here.
So am I.
Yeah,
me too.
It's really getting to me. So Ryan Morris facing here.
Digs it out.
He'll want to get off the mark nice and quick here, Ryan Morris. He needs to really try and get his innings started early when he's batting old Maury, the pig. So he'll try and do his best to get that first run out of the way as the Tigers move to 4 for 48 at the halfway mark of the innings.
Yep, so 4 for 48. Brett Murphy from the Northern Districts Cricket Club. What do you think the rule will want to try and restrict the Tigers to now that we're halfway through the Tigers' innings?
Oh, I think now they'll probably bring it into more near the 100 mark, I'd say, but they'd still be happy with 120. They've still got the field out here, so that tells me they're happy to give away the ones. They really just want to stop those boundaries. Obviously, McRae's still in there. He's a danger man here for the Tigers. He can hit a big ball and hit the ball hard to the boundary.
Sean, surely the low hundreds has got to be still very doable.
Absolutely, it's still doable. If you're a little under run a ball, gets you to that 100 mark probably. So the boys, there's plenty of room out there. The 5 fielders are still out there, even for the new batsman. Not too much pressure on him. If he just dobs that one down the down straight to long on, long off, he's going to get himself off the mark, pick up a couple of easy runs as we've seen there. If they run hard, are they going to take the arm on? McRae, quick between the wickets.
He will, and he does it easy. Does it real easy. And Neil Ryan, I mean, he was just there just receiving that ball because he knew that they were going to get home.
Absolutely. So no worries about trying to take those bails off. When Hayden McRae's committed to it, he's going to make it. Very good athlete, Hayden. Great football player. Made his way through the Dragons 20s squad in the last few seasons as well, and also a very handy skateboarder. You'll often see him sneaking his way over to cricket training from over the nets from the skate park at Rex Jackson Oval in Helensburgh. He'll finish off with a little skate before he comes in and starts whacking the ball in the nets.
He's a cool, calm character, and they're going to need every bit of his calmness here this afternoon, the Tigers.
So Morris punching that through. He's made his way to 3. He's just going to work his way in. He knows that Hayden's the set batsman in this partnership. He'll do his best to just give him the strike. Good bowling there from Ryan, darting it in.
Good work from Ryan there, Brett.
Yeah, as I thought, he's just really trying to get him in there nice and full and straight and quick. And as we've seen, I think McRae's trying to go after him a little bit there, and he just can't get under it. So very good bowling to restrict him. He's a good batsman. We're going to see Coleman continue here, so he must be feeling all right. He's going to push through. Hopefully he can pick up another one here.
It's a deep cover, long on, long off, cow corner and a deep square. They've got pretty much the whole field covered here, Northern Districts. The only places where the boundary is really exposed is behind the wicket, but there's probably not enough pace quite yet for the ball to be flying down towards that third man fine leg. So the Helensburgh batters just going to have to make do with trying to punch their way out to the fielders out on the boundary and make do and run hard.
Seriously, Colmar is having an epic fitness test on his hamstring at the moment.
Absolutely.
He fielded a ball in the last over as well.
Yeah, he's feeling it, I think, but credit to him, he's pushing through for the team here and he's really executing that Yorker well. He's actually a rehab salesman. He sells wheelchairs, so he might need to take a spin on one of his own products after today, I think.
He's got some demo stock.
Yeah, he's got plenty in his van out the back, so he might be wheeling it in, I think, today.
He might need some anti-inflammatories too, I reckon.
Yeah, he might need a bit more than that, but hopefully they get the win up and he might have a few pale ales to...
What would it mean to Northern Districts? Let's say he does not pull up well after this match today, as far as their 2-day comp goes.
Yeah, well, Josh he hasn't played every game this season. He's got a young family and also with work, so he's sort of been a bit of a part-time player. He's probably played around half the games. So
he might have got
he's got another one.
Has.
There we go. But in saying that, obviously, as they push to the finals, we want to keep him. But that Yorker again from Colma, he's been executing it really well. Just tried to go across the line there.
And Morris is gone.
Absolutely salmon trout. That was just out from side on. No matter where you're standing in the field, if you're seeing it hit him on the full, right in front of those stumps, it's just got to be out. No questions asked.
Here's the Johnson legal replay. I thought he was forward a bit. Like, it could have moved a teeny weeny bit.
No, that's smashing all three.
I think it's hit him on the full, so...
It has hit him on the full, but he must have been that foot looked as though it was about a foot forward.
Yeah, but unfortunately, the interpretation of the rules these days, if you get whacked on the pad, on the full, no matter where you are, you could be halfway down the wicket. As long as it's in front of the stumps, you're gone. Gone. So don't let it hit you on the full, and especially not when it's right in front of those stumps, which Morris has done. But his best mate, Christian Lewis, is now stride out to the wicket. As the Tigers are now 5 for 52 in the after 12. A lot of work to be done here, and Hayden McRae's punched it down and long off, looking to try and get things going for the Tigers.
They might have missed a run there. I think they put pressure on the fielder. He misfielded, but they still only managed the single. So Ryan's bowling really well here to McRae. I think he's trying to go after him a bit here and pick up that run rate, but he just can't seem to get under him at the moment.
No, Helensburgh they've just really struggled to get any momentum this afternoon, Sean.
No, whenever it sort of seems like there's a little bit of a partnership brewing, the runs start ticking over a little bit, just another wicket falls and we put that pressure back on ourselves. So Christian Lewis just flicks that one to get himself off the mark here, but the Tigers, they're not doing themselves any favours. They look like they consolidate and then wicket falls. So Northern District's doing a great job to just keep pegging things back as they go. Doing a great job, bowling their lines well, nice and tight, nice and full. They're doing everything right here, Northern Districts.
Sean, just thinking back to last year's T20 first grade final, Helensburgh lost by 7 wickets to Corrimal. They scored 96. They were sent in on that day. 9 for 96 is what they scored. Nathan Marchianti scored 37, and Mitch McRae, who is still out. No, Hayden McRae's out there at the moment. Mitch is away at the moment. Mitch scored 21 last year in that final. Do you think that they might just be thinking to themselves, we came into this match as the favourites?
Yeah, well, hopefully they haven't sort of gone a bit ahead of themselves here. The boys, I know that obviously they're very confident in their ability. They know we're a good quality cricket side, but you hope that you got to play it one game at a time. You don't get ahead of yourselves. And here's hoping that none of them are really thinking about last year's game, because we're looking at a very similar situation at the moment, aren't we? It's
absolutely
low scoring and batting first, and also Northern District's got some destructive batters up at the top of the order. So the boys, hopefully they can get that out of their mind. Hayden and Christian just going to keep working away here and try and get us into a position where we can start having a dip and get up over that 100-run mark.
Salakis is going with Colmer again, correct?
Yes, yeah, he's going to bowl him out here as well.
That hamstring's getting an absolute workout this afternoon, but why wouldn't you after picking up a couple of key wickets?
Yeah, I think he's got one in every over so far, so he's picked up the 3. So hopefully he can make it 4 here. Courageous performance from Josh.
But it tends to be with injuries sort of like that. Once you start, you don't want to stop, because the second you stop, you cool down, and you know what? That's when you're going to come. It's going to be a lot harder to come back and finish it off later on. So probably not a bad tactic to just keep him going while he's still warming.
Yeah, I think Salakis is a bit of a heartless man too. He won't be thinking of how Josh is feeling. He's thinking about the team, so that wouldn't have even entered his mind, I don't think. He just wants to get the best out of everybody.
Josh Colmer is bowling his heart out at the moment, and he's a wounded warrior, but he's doing oh so well, because Northern District's chasing their 3rd premiership success in 4 grades here this afternoon. The 4ths and the 2nds already successful. Helensburgh looking to try and stitch up an elusive T20 crown, Sean?
Absolutely. We've got in the 2-day premiership. We've got in the 1-day premiership, the old 1-day premiership, and the first grade title has just eluded us over the last few seasons in the T20 format. So hopefully the boys can get the runs on the board and then the bowlers can come out a little bit later on and do their job. But I know that it's the one thing that the boys really are striving for. They want that T20 title. It's the one thing that's sort of been held back from the club for a little while.
And Thurul chasing an elusive T20 crown because this would be their first in the 10th year of the competition.
Absolutely, yeah, it'd be their first and the first silverware in any format since 2011, I believe, when they won the 1-day comp. So I know the boys are very excited, and it's been a great run for them just to get here after losing the first 2 games and to win the next 4 on the trot. They're obviously heading in with a lot of confidence, and it's showing here.
Chasing their 5th straight win of this competition all the way to the grand final, and in those 4 wins they have batted second, so they have proven that they can chase. And Sean, surely Helensburgh would know that fact, and they would have to be a little bit nervous about that.
Absolutely. They've seen, like with my cricket, you can see everything that's going on, and we've know what's going on around the competition these days with Twitter keeping everyone in the clue. So the Tigers know absolutely how destructive Northern Districts have been in the back end of this T20 comp, and the fact that they love chasing when you have the batting talents that they do. Why wouldn't you? Especially when your boys are in form. So the Tigers are going to be a bit wary, I'm sure, if they don't get too many runs on the board.
Coleman just gets clapped off. He's obviously going back into the sheds for a little bit of treatment. The surprise. Well, look out. Lewis.
It's put down.
It was put down. And look at the divots there. It's like the first at Pebble Beach.
Is he going to put him back? Etiquette?
I don't think that.
Nope, he's just wandering away.
Oh, they might have to send the curator over to Ferry Meadow Beach, home of the Seals, and come back with a bit of sand there, because that's a pretty nasty divot.
Yeah, he's only a lean fella too, Marshy. That's surprising. He's one of the better fielders in this side, and he prides himself on his catching, so he won't be happy with that.
I'm sure Christian Lewis probably a little bit surprised himself that he got as much on that. He's just tried to punch that down there, and little Chrissy, not exactly known for his big hitting, more of a time batsman rather than a big hitter, so he's probably going a little bit more on that than he expected to, and unlucky by the fielder out there on the boundary. Great effort, and just put it down in that last second.
So we got Neil Ryan bowling from the Taraji end. Helensburgh 5 for 63. We're in the 15th over here at North Dalton Park, the Cricket Illawarra first grade final, and McRae dances down the wicket. I'm not safe to call it yet for a 4, and it's like punched across like a pinball machine. Lucky there was another butcher over there to swoop like a seagull and get it back. It's a very slow part of the field out there, Brett.
Yeah, that pulled up, didn't it? That looked off the bat like it was 4 for sure. But good chase there from the Pom. His long lever's out and flicked it back in, so saved 1 run there.
Yeah, McRae gave up on that one. He's liked it as soon as he hit it inside out over that cover region. He didn't really push too hard on that first one, but yeah, great fielding out there on the boundary. And with these cones in a little bit, you're probably going to have to really work hard if you're one of those boundary riders. Put the hard work in early, run quick, and make sure you get to that ball.
Yeah, well, that beach side of the field has been a lot slower than the western side this afternoon. And this is our 3rd grand final of the day, so there's been a fair bit of cricket played on this pitch today.
Yeah, a bit of cricket on here. 3rd grade blokes probably not too accustomed to playing on turf. They'll get the occasional game on it in 3rd grade, but I'm sure they would have loved the opportunity to be out here on the premier cricket ground of the Illawarra, where probably one of the best pitches in the whole competition. So even though there's been 3 games out here today, I'm sure it's holding up nice and well. And as Dobbo said before from Kira, probably just take roll your fingers on it, take a little bit of pace off, and it'll hold up a little bit. So I'm sure the Northern Districts and Helensburgh bowlers are paying a lot of attention to how this pitch is holding up.
Our Bar Sports TV coverage of the Cricket Illawarra first grade grand final, powered by Johnson Legal, and our Johnson Legal replay. This was the drop catch.
So close.
He was dropping down, but Brett, on that catch.
He made good ground to get there, but I think he just took his eyes off it at the end there.
Still, I think it was a great effort to even get as close as he did, because he did have to move, and his body was coming down. Anyway, how crucial will that drop catch be
Yeah, it could come back to hurt them. I think this is going to be a big over or two here. This is Ant Sheely into the attack, another off spinner. But
Back for two.
He tends to fly at the ball a bit more than Neil Ryan does, so I think we might see McRae try and get after him here. But if Ant can tie him down or beat the bat, it could be a big turning point in the match.
Well, the skipper, Salakis, is using his 5th bowler of the afternoon. We're in the 16th. Northern Districts chasing their 3rd premiership victory of the day after earlier wins to the 4ths and the 2nds. Sean Mullally from the Helensburgh Cricket Club. Your boys just haven't been able to get into a really good rhythm this Savo thus far.
No, they just haven't really found the boundary on enough occasion to keep that pressure off their back, and finding the fielder one too many times, I think. And even with the fielders out, we just haven't found that gap often enough. So Spesh McRae's just going to have to go here now. It's time for him to open up, I think, with 5 wickets still left in the shed, and we're into the 16th over now. Not much time left, and if they want to get this score up over 100, maybe if they can go hard enough, get it to that 110, he's going to have to open up and really show us what he's got. Christian Lewis backing away and just punching out to cover.
Helensburgh 5 for 71. They scored 8 runs off the last over, which was handy. Playing a miss there, but it's a wide, so that's beneficial to the Tigers.
Need a few more of those, the Tigers. They're going to have to really up the tempo here. If they want to get to that 100, which is a good, nice little part, well, that's their target now for sure, get to the 3 digits. They've got to go a little...
was there a single in that?
Not with Christian Lewis out there. The poor big rig, I don't think he would have made it to the other end safely.
Well, that's the end of the 16th over. The Helensburgh Tigers 5 for 72. You're tipping another bowling change here, Brett?
Yeah, it looks like Lachlan Dunn's coming on here. Bit of a part-time bowler, just little swingers both ways. His preferred mode of dismissal is to run out at the bowler's end. He actually practices that at training, gets them hit back at him, and practices deflecting back onto the stump. So he's quite a handy little bowler to have here. He will just noodle it around both ways. I think he picked up 3 for 5 in 1 over in a T20 against Kira earlier this year. So,
well, he can bat, we know that, because he's coming off 88 off 44 in the semi-final victory by Northern Districts over Port Kembla. It was a 9-wicket win, and they were chasing down 137 on that day, and him and the skipper Salakis scored 41 off 39. It was a 117-run opening stand. Impressive.
Yeah, they've had a few big ones, actually. The first game of the year, they both scored big hundreds. I think it was over 200-run opening stand in the first game of the season. So they've formed quite a good partnership there, left-right-hand combination. Salakis is more of your paddler. He'll just paddle it around, look for the singles, but there's none of that from Lockie. He likes to hit a big ball and he likes to score very quickly. Loves hitting a 6.
And how desperate will Helensburgh be to get him out cheaply this afternoon, Sean?
Oh, he's the key wicket for sure, Trav. They're going to be pushing for him as soon as possible. Make sure you'll see our strike bowlers on early. You'll have Ben Marciani probably opening up at him, and he'll want that wicket badly, knowing that he's going to be the danger batsman, so they'll push hard and they'll do everything they can, but they've got to be very wary. If you give him anything, he's going to make sure he puts it away.
Dunn bowls, McRae defends away.
Just look for the dogman, Hayden McRae, here to back away, give himself a little bit of room. I reckon he's going to try and pick this gap if he gets anything a little full between long off and that squarish cover. He's going to try and go over extra cover if he gets a bit of width, I reckon.
He slaps that. Just picks up a single.
Yeah, needs to just open his shoulders a little bit more here. I'm sure he's a little bit upset with himself. He knows he can do the big shot when he needs it, but he's just doing what's right for the team at the moment. He's making sure he gets the runs when they're on offer. He just needs to probably go a little bit harder and get a couple away and really help the boys out here.
Lewis.
Quick early call of
Slaps
2.
that 2 back for 2. McRae's fast and he'll make sure of it because Lewis was going to the safe end. It ended up being the danger end because that's where the ball went, but he scampers home.
Good running there.
2 runs.
Good running there. They need to really run those 2s and 3s hard on the big outfield here. Try and pick the gaps.
5 for 77. We're in the 17th over. Sun shining again here at North Dalton Park. There's a storm on its way, but probably won't hit until well and truly after the completion of this first grade final. It's still some ways away. If it actually does hit the Illawarra, I reckon it'll go south, boys, looking at the radar.
We should be right here. We'll get a full complement in.
Absolutely we will.
Yeah, it looks fine. Sun's come back out. Beautiful day.
But yeah, the boys will be making the most of these nice conditions. Not too hot, a little bit of a breeze out there, although not much to complain about. You're only standing out there for 20 overs and you're playing late in the afternoon. You can't really go complaining about it being too hot.
No, the only thing you complain about being hot would be the beer post-match.
Don't worry, I'm sure they'll be on ice waiting for both teams no matter the result.
Well, I hope they've got the ice for Josh Coleman because his hamstring needs to be wrapped around Antarctica at the moment because he has bowled his heart out. He's taken a handful of wickets and he has got one dodgy hamstring. And again, McRae back for 2 there. He's very handy between wickets, isn't he? He's going to make Lewis work.
He's going to be very... Christian Lewis, he's probably going to not enjoy batting with Hayden at the moment. While it's good for the team, it's not good for little Chrissy's lung capacity. So Christian is going to do what's right for the team, though. So if Hayden's calling him through, he's going to do his best. So if Hayden's going to the danger end, don't worry, Christian's going to go. But if he's running the danger end, maybe think twice about it. But it's just splitting those fielders as we saw for that 2 earlier in the over. You just got to pick between the 2 boundary riders. But Northern Districts, their fields are perfectly sort of set here. They've got the blokes in short, cutting off that angle between the 2 boundary riders. So it's a bit hard for the blokes unless they choose to go the aerial route. But with a bit of a slow pitch later in the day, it's probably a little bit harder for the boys to go over the top.
Brett, how much work does Sheely do in the regular season?
Yeah, Sheely's he gets through a lot of overs between him and Neil. They bowl a lot of overs. He's been up and down from 1s and 2s this year when they prefer to go with the 1 spinner or 2. I thought it was a bit of a gamble saving him till the end here. It's always a bit of a risk bowling a spinner at the end of a T20, but obviously with the big boundaries and all the men out, chance here. Oh, he's missed by a country mile there,
yeah,
Marshy.
He had to offload it quickly.
Yeah, he backed himself to hit that though, and he's dropped the catch, so he won't be happy with himself.
Yeah, but it was still good athleticism in the field there.
Yeah, he did well to pick it up and get rid of it quickly. He sets high standards for himself though, Reese. He's got a bit of the handlebar moustache going on too.
So Sheely doing some quality work here. And again, we've got a fieldsman deep who just picks it up and only a single. So at the moment, Sheely's got things under control and the screw's still on the Tigers.
Yeah, not really able to let their arms free here and swing right through that line of the ball yet. It's been great bowling from Northern Districts, nice and full and tight to the stumps. Nothing really letting the boys have their full swing and put everything, the whole kitchen sink behind it. So with a couple overs to go, though, to start watching the boys try and open up here, I'm sure.
Only a single here again from McRae.
Going to keep the strike, though, at the end of the over.
Yep, smart play, and he's going to make a switch too. He needs a drink, I would think. And maybe some instructions as well. So after 18 overs, it's the Helensburgh Tigers 5 for 86. They were sent in after the Butchers won the toss and elected to bowl. We've got Brett Murphy from the Northern Districts Cricket Club, Sean Mullally from the Helensburgh Tigers, and Travis Winks in commentary with you this afternoon. Cricket Illawarra T20 Finals Day on Bar Sports TV, powered by Johnston Legal. Hope you're enjoying our coverage wherever you are around the world. We know that we've got viewers in North America and South America too this afternoon, thanks to Mr. McRae.
I'm sure he's enjoying watching his little bro go and do his work.
And picks
He'd
up
love to
another
be out
single.
here.
Yeah, well, he would. Well, he featured well last year, didn't he?
Absolutely. He was pivotal last year and he's a massive member of this Helensburgh side, really anchors that batting line up all the time. So while I'm sure he's enjoying his time over in South America getting shown around by his lover, I'm sure he'll wish he was out here.
So what are you running with, lover?
Yeah, we'll go with lover. No, we'll go with lover.
Lewis just picks up a single there. I mean, it was a low risk shot, even though it went in the air because there was no fieldsman within cooee of where that was going to drop, but he did hit it with a bit of intent.
Yeah, as we said before, Christian not known for his big hitting. He loves nudging it around. Hayden going high.
Bit of hitting, but it could go straight down the throat, and
he's put it down.
Oh, Banfield.
Banfield has dropped. Brett, would you call that a sitter?
I would call that a sitter. Definitely should have taken that.
the call of just dropped the match from the stands, I think that's a little bit premature. But
it's extremely premature, but nonetheless, it could be a defining moment here because we know that scores of under 100 have been the flavour of the day here on Cricket Illawarra T20 Grand Final Day, and there's another 2 to McRae. So he wasn't perturbed by the drop catch.
No, not at all. Christian Lewis just bunting that one out there to the deep and running hard there. They've come back to his end though, so he's going to have to scurry a little bit faster, I think. Christian, they're starting to realise that he's the end of throw to if they can get the arm.
I think Lockie's just got to hit the Yorker length here. They're looking to get under it.
He did.
And he did there.
Was foolish, that delivery, and another single to Lewis.
The boys will be happy to take singles from here on out, I think, the Butcher boys, and have that target around 100 mark. They'll be very happy with that indeed.
Yeah, 100's an absolute must now. 92, got to get to that 100.
I'll tell you what, guys, these guys have put on 40 runs. So it's been a quality partnership between McRae and Lewis.
Yeah, it's just crept up there. You wouldn't really expect, probably because we aren't seeing too many boundaries or anything like that they've put on this many. But 19 overs gone, 5 for 93 coming into the last over here. I think it's really time that we'll see the boys opening up and trying to go as big as they can now.
Let's check out the Johnson legal replay of the drop catch from Banfield on McRae.
Got in position early.
Just popped out.
Just popped out.
Wasn't really looking at that one. He's got his eyes up there as it hits his hands, but mate, he should have swallowed that. Oh. It's just a fielder's worst nightmare. There's no hole big enough that you can dig for yourself and try and hide in there.
Runs there for McRae. They'll come back for the second.
Way? That's good fielding
well fielded, cut off the boundary.
Well fielded by Toby English down there. It's all he's done in the field all day, I think, but
the thing is with Banfield's drop catch, you could hit 20 of those at him and he'd catch 19 of them every time, even more.
Maybe 14, I'd say, with Jamal.
You reckon?
Yeah, I've hit a few to him. He doesn't like the high ball at training.
Well, I feel sorry for him on Grand Final Day because McRae got a life and Hayden's batted very, very well, and again...
At least he's out on the eastern side out there. He's not in front of the grandstand. I think he would have been copping it a bit if he was over this side. So,
well, I feel sorry for him.
Yeah,
I'm sure a few of his mates won't hesitate maybe showing that highlight back to him once this goes up afterwards. I know I wouldn't.
Yeah, I think it'll be all
Jeez,
over.
You guys are harsh.
All over his Facebook tonight, I'd say.
I'd love to get out there and hit you boys some catches like that and see how well you go. See if you can bet a 14 out of 20.
Yeah, don't worry. That's why we're up here and not out there.
Yeah, because I reckon I might catch 4 out of 20. A more chance of catching the flu in summer.
Crucial dot ball there in the last over. Last thing the Tigers need. They need runs off every ball here. So Christian Lewis, let's see if he can double it up at least on this ball.
Nope.
Another dot.
The bowling from Sheely, nice and full and straight.
Not a bad final over so far. Not many off it. Still 4 away from that elusive 100. Let's see if we can get there for one time today.
Good bit of fielding there. Had to stick the mid out.
Yeah, Jamal there making up for it. Probably saved a run there.
Last ball?
We must be close.
Yeah.
So Helensburgh 5 for 97. A boundary would just be very, very welcome.
That's
right
what
now.
you need. Set that mental edge of you've got to chase 3 figures. Chasing over 100 is a lot different to chasing down 90. It might not seem like much, but to the team chasing second, knowing you've got to chase over 100.
McRae
does he
dances
split him?
down, and I think he might get that boundary, and we've got a 101 run total. From the Helensburgh Tigers, a 49-run partnership, unbeaten partnership between Hayden McRae and Christian Lewis. The Tigers finish at 5 for 101 after being sent into bat by the Butchers. Sean, will it be enough?
We'll have to see, I guess. It's runs on the board. That's the thing that the boys will take away from it. It's probably below par. 120, we said earlier on in the piece, that that's probably what the first team would be looking for. Northern District's opening pairs, we've said, very dangerous, but Helensburgh definitely got the bowling attack to put the screws in and really keep it tight, and I'm sure they'll work hard early on and put the foot on the throat and get the Butcher's under a little bit of pressure. I think that was also with that 4 off the last ball. That might have been Hayden McRae's 50, I think. A little salute towards the grandstand as he was walking off.
It was a good batting effort. He came in when they were 1 for 9 after Bunting was run out. And just reflecting back on the wickets, Ralston took 1 and Colmer 3 on 1 leg, Brett. He was a standout for the rule.
Absolutely massive performance from Josh. He's just getting a clap off here as well with McRae. So I think the boys were really pleased with that effort, restricting them to 100 there. So as we've spoken about, a lot hinges on that opening partnership for us, and it could suit Lockie Dunn here to hit. He likes to hit over the top, so I don't think you'll see his balls pulling up short.
Well, they're renowned chasers, the Northern District's first grade team in this Cricket Illawarra 2020 competition. Brett Murphy, Sean Mullally and Travis Winks in commentary. The Butchers will be back to chase 102 for victory very, very shortly here at North Dalton Park. We're going to take a short break. We'll be back with more with our Bar TV sports coverage powered by Johnson Legal real soon. Hello and welcome back to North Dalton Park on this Cricket Illawarra T20 Grand Final Day. Our Bar TV sports coverage powered by Johnson Legal. You've got Travis Winks in commentary, joined by Sean Mullally from the Helensburgh Club and Rob Shealy from the Northern Districts Cricket Club. Of course, the Butchers are chasing their third premiership success out of 4 grades today. They were only involved in 3. They won the 4ths, they won the 2nds, and they now face a run chase of 102 for victory to try and get themselves on a rare piece of silverware. Where Helensburgh 5 for 101 from their 20 overs. Sean, do you think it's going to be enough?
Probably just a little bit under what they think they probably would have needed as a good score, but quality bowling attack like ours, as Captain Marciani starts with a wide, quality bowling attack like ours, they're going to back themselves to defend any total at all. So it's going to be a good contest. A damaging opening pair from Northern Districts and a real quality fast bowling lineup, as well as a few good spinners in there for the Tigers. So 100, probably right on the money for a good game.
Marciani hoping that opening wide is out of his system, lickety split. So Salakis, the captain of Thirul, is on strike. Rob, thanks for joining us for the run chase here. And chasing down targets is something the Butchers know how to do very well.
Yeah, they've definitely backed themselves in this one. I mean, to win a toss in a final and choose to bowl, it's a big call, even given recent results, and it really lies with these two. I mean, Lachlan Dunn scored 254 runs in his 6 matches at over 60.
A half a chance there. Salakis offered up to the Tigers. It didn't quite carry, I don't think. We'll have to get a Johnson legal replay on that one. But, yeah, they're not perturbed by run chases, Rob.
No, clearly, and they've been getting off to a good start as well, which is vital here.
Well, that was a genuine chance, I would think. I'm not quite sure if it carried all the way to the fielder. Johnson legal replay. I mean, it was catchable, yeah, Sean?
Yeah, get down a little bit quicker from Christian Lewis there. Might be a chance, but just in front of him. They're tough ones, though. They go quick.
Oh, hits the pads, Marciani. And Salakis has been a reasonably good touch as well, Rob.
He certainly has. He's very consistent. I mean, the key for him is his start. He can be a little bit scratchy early in the first couple of overs, but once he gets away, he really knows how to work the ball and turn the strike over all the time. He's not a big hitter. I mean, he's only a small man, but he can definitely be consistent with his scoring.
Well, it's a 102-run target for victory as Marciani comes in from the city end and Salakis defends.
Dot balls, crucial in T20 cricket. Dot balls are absolute gems to have in this game. So the more of those you can get, build that pressure on the batsman, get in their head. I'm sure the Tigers players will be letting them know that there's not many runs being scored out there. So put that scoreboard pressure on them. It's always tough chasing, but we'll see what happens here. Good bowling needed.
12 months ago, the Tigers couldn't defend 96. They've got a couple of extra runs up their sleeve this time round.
Yeah, just a few more than the total last year. Probably an on-par batting opposition as well. ND's similar to Coromel's batting lineup. Very good up the top. So a few extra runs and maybe a year's extra experience and maturity might help the Tigers side here, but it's going to be a good game no matter what, especially if we can see Lachlan Dunn at the other end open up and hit a few long balls.
Oh, jeez. Playing a miss there from Salakis. Nervy start, Rob.
He certainly does look nervous early, and I mean, to him it's going to be everything to get a couple along the carpet and get up the other end, and it's not the easiest ground to score. I'm watching the games earlier today. It's definitely, there's not a lot of value for shots on the ground, which could be the boost for Dunn with his big hitting in the air.
So we've got Luke Spoonie Faulkner to come on for the Tigers here, one of the biggest in-swingers in the entire competition. Started hitting really good form in this T20 comp. His economy rate is just outstanding, and he takes wickets when he needs to as well. So Spoonie's going to have those big induckers coming back at the right-hander. So we'll see how he goes here. An early wicket, really crucial for the Tigers probably, especially Lachlan Dunn here.
Oh, and wouldn't it be Lachlan Dunn, 88 off 44 in the semi-final victory over Port. This is his moment now.
I think so, and I think even an early loss of his wicket would change the whole mindset of the chase and put a lot of pressure on the team. They rely a lot on him, and if he can't put at least 20 or 30 on the board, it'll definitely put a lot of pressure on the Butchers.
Does he explode straight away?
He is a fairly flamboyant scorer right from the word go. He likes to hit big. He's it's sort of a game that's lent itself to him with his flair. Like a few years back when there was no T20 around, the young player might have been sort of reined in early on, but it's really played into his hand.
He bats out of his crease, and Faulkner is going to have to be bang on the money because Dunn is in a rich vein of form at the moment.
Good start from Spoons there, hitting his length right away. No, gimme ball first up.
Playing a miss. Once again, the sun shining brightly. And we should have no dramas with any threat of any kind of weather.
Going to get our full 20 overs worth of cricket in here.
Some big storms over Wagga Wagga right now. But they won't be here if they come this way until much later tonight. Northern Districts chasing 102 for victory. Was a very good effort from Hayden McRae, half century for Helensburgh, and it was well supported by Christian Lewis. They put on a 49-run partnership at the back end there, 5 for 101, and they certainly have given Helensburgh every chance of trying to win this elusive T20 premiership that they missed out on last year. Northern Districts, this could ice a very successful day, Rob.
It'd be a very big day. I mean, that innings from McRae, that could be the difference. The magical 3 figures, it's definitely, with no one else scoring it all day, it's definitely, it looks a bigger total just with that extra 2 runs. But yeah, definitely it would be a big day for the Butchers if they got all 3. I mean, it'll be all right. They've got 2. They'll have something to celebrate tonight anyway.
They will, but they do want that first grade premiership as much as Helensburgh do, because they've been here, the Tigers, but they couldn't seal the deal last year against Corrimal.
Yeah, runners-up, bridesmaids last year, and it was a bit of a deflating one. Such good form coming up into Christmas in the T20 and in the normal competition, so it sort of slowed the run a little bit. The boys didn't quite hit their strides after Christmas as well, and after the T20 grand final, so they probably took a little bit of the wind out of their sails. You wouldn't have been able to tell it later that night. The celebrations afterward were just as good as if we probably would have won it, but no. So a win here
Dunn
is crucial.
splits the fielders. It was in the air for a bit of time there, and they get through for 2 to the Butchers.
Chased down there by Jared Fitzgerald. Now, Jared's become a little bit of an overnight sensation in the Illawarra region. If anyone's been tuning into Win News lately, they would have seen the coverage of the semi-finals, and he was the person who took one of the greatest catches over here at North Dalton Park right on the boundary, dove backwards, grabbed it right in front of the cameraman. I'm sure he planned that. Probably walked in a few extra metres to get himself the good catch right on camera and knew it was going on the news, but definitely went for 6. He's taking the catch falling over the boundary, but you know what? It's probably like AFL. If you take a specky, just, you know what? That's fine. No dramas.
It's all about the commitment, and the hair had to look good underneath the hat.
Yeah, absolutely. So Marciani to continue, bowl another over here.
Just 2 runs off that second over. Helensburgh, none for 3. Steady start.
They definitely seem to be bowling the right lines early on, have a definite plan, and they're bowling to the field. And the Butchers look a little bit under the pump, trying to get away and get some runs early.
The skipper on strike from the Tigers skipper with the ball in hand.
He'll want to win this contest, Ben. It's always a big thing in cricket when 2 captains come up against each other, bowler to batsman. You know, both of them are going to be trying really hard. Neither one wants to lose that contest, so Marciani's going to want to stamp his dominance on this game here. If he can get the opposition captain out, he might send a little bit of a message to the rest of the Northern District side and show that he's standing up here at the big moments.
Playing a miss from Salakis.
This will be starting to eat away at Salakis. He really looks to be struggling to get the ball away at all. And he's probably 1 ball closer to a rash shot every ball.
Well, he's just got to keep his head. He's the captain. He's spoken very positively during the week and the lead up to this final. Has a hell of a lot of respect for the Helensburgh Cricket Club. And he's got an opportunity here with his opening partner, whom they've done it before. They just need to do it in that last game of the season in this competition. Oh, jeez. He did well to get bat on ball there, and it was a slower ball bouncer. Is that how we describe that?
Yeah, I guess that's how you describe it. Marciani's probably just rolled his fingers down the side of that, and you see it a lot in the international game and the Big Bash League that's been on recently. The fast bowlers taking the pace off it, bowling that shorter one. So if he didn't hit that one, it was hitting him straight in the middle of the forehead, I reckon. Johnson legal replay coming up to show it. Oh,
It was just an awkward-looking delivery, and Salakis did really well in the end.
He did. He'll be happy to get up the other end. He got it on the bat. Luckily, we seemed to be in position very early, but it never really had any control over the shot.
It was just lucky that it didn't go straight down a fielder's throat, because it had that potential. It was just an awkward, odd delivery, and that is a massive wide down leg side.
Can't give away extra runs like that. 101, it might be a decent total, but it's not big enough total that you can go giving away a run and an extra ball. Sundry's absolute killers in T20 cricket, so the Tigers would be really filthy on themselves. Any bowlers that sort of bowl those wides, anything down leg, it's going to get called, so can't afford to give it away.
Dunn defends. This is a different approach from him.
Definitely. I think Helensburgh are definitely making it hard for him early, and I mean, he'd be valuing his wicket today knowing how much he's relied upon for the big score, and he'd be waiting for the right ball. He'd probably have a couple of balls in his head that he wants to score off, and Helensburgh have been good and haven't gave him any yet.
Not yet, but I'm sure as the pressure mounts on both teams, that time will come. It's just a matter of whether or not he's still at the crease. He's a quality batsman. And again, quick single, and it was a good call in the end. He is very fast between wickets, done as well.
Yeah, it's great running between the wickets there. Just taking the pace off the ball there. Nice soft hands. Person in mid-on, just sort of a little bit on their heels there. So good quick running from Dunn, and that's what you got to do when you're getting tied down a little bit. Find a way to get yourself off strike and just tick that scoreboard over.
Bar TV Sports, powered by Johnson Legal. It's the Cricket Illawarra 2020 Grand Final Day. The Butchers looking for their third premiership of the day after their fourths were victorious earlier. In third grade, West Illawarra beat Corrimal comprehensively in the seconds. The Butchers in the end were too good for the Kira Cricket Club, and we find ourselves looking at an intriguing run chase in first grade. Helensburgh 5 for 101. It's a 102 run target. Northern Districts none for 6, but they can chase. We've got Rob Shealy from Thurul in commentary alongside Sean Mullally from Helensburgh, and I'm Travis Winks as this scoreboard just slowly ticks over here at North Dalton Park.
Number 7 after 3. A bit of a slow start here for Northern Districts, although both openers still in here at this same stage. Tigers had already lost a wicket, so while it's not a barnstorming start like we probably predicted, it's a safe one at the moment. Faulkner is going to continue and bowl another over here for the Tigers. He's going to do a lot more damage with the new ball here, Spoon, so look for him. Most of his overs to be coming out at the start.
Why is he called Spoons?
Faulkner.
Gotcha.
Fork, spoon. Sounds better than knifey.
Knife. I don't mind knifey. Knife is better.
Yeah, knife would be good. He's not mean enough though for knifey. He's definitely
venom.
a spoon. But he's got a younger brother in the club, Teaspoon, and his old man that plays a few games every now and then.
Wooden.
Ladle.
I mean, you've got options at plenty.
Oh, don't worry. The Helensburgh Tigers are not short of a nickname, that's for sure.
What's your nickname, Sean?
I've got a few too many, unfortunately. Main one's either Horn, which I can honestly
begin to imagine.
Yeah, don't know. Honestly, don't know where it came from. Started when I was younger, and that's where we're at now. And there's been the latest nickname that's probably been given to me to Hayden McRae because he's just strange. The special kid, as we call him. He has decided to start calling me Bugsy. Bugsy. Got no idea where it's come from, but that's what he goes with now.
I wouldn't even know how to spell that. What about you, Rob?
I was unfortunate enough to have the initials RS, so it was a very, very simple one. Pretty much sums up my cricketing ability.
Okay. Fair enough. Nice and simple. What about your brother, Ant?
He hasn't really got anything. He's managed to avoid it most of the times. He's got enough quirks in his game to be called anything, but yeah, he's had a fairly inconspicuous career. He's really only started playing first grade in the last 2 years at the age of 36 and 37, despite being in the club for 20 odd years.
Salakis picks up a couple there.
Just a little bit of frustration there in that shot. Probably just trying to go a little too hard at it. he's got the result. He's got his 2 runs, but a few dot balls there. Just the scoreboard pressure starting to tick on and realising we need to tick things over a little bit quicker. But fielders up early on in this first 6 overs. You can afford to take those sort of risks.
Dot ball, defensive stroke.
The only bonus for the Butchers at the moment is they haven't lost a wicket. If they happen to lose 1 or 2 now, they could be in dire straits early. Really struggling to get the ball away, 3 runs and over. When that total starts to get over 6 and over, the run rate required, it's very hard on this slow outfield.
Yeah, you want to be hitting boundaries towards the western side. Quick single here. Lucky that they're quick between wickets, and a direct hit would have had Salakis sweating. Dunn was always going to be home.
Yeah, Dunn's a lot quicker than Salakis. I think Salakis was the more positive one with the call, but he was definitely short of the crease when the ball went past the stumps there.
Yeah, good little shot at the stumps there from the Irishman, Stephen Bunting. Surprised not to see him probably be featured so far. However, Marciani and Faulkner both bowling quite tight at the start here, so why change a good thing, I guess?
Quality start from the Tigers' opening bowlers. Marciani and Faulkner. They are building the pressure on this Northern District's opening combination of Dunn and Salakis. And this is why Northern Districts have so much respect for the Tigers lineup.
Most definitely. This early bowling is brilliant. I mean, they're all looking at the top of off stump and thereabouts and bowling to an offside field, and they're just not being able to get the ball away at this stage.
Yeah, it seems like a very deliberate plan from the Tigers here. You can see their 2 fielders are allowed out in the deep are down at third man and fine leg, so the bowlers are obviously hitting that nice short length, trying to hit that top of off and not giving them anything to drive because there's no protection straight. So bowl a nice tight line, keep them just prodding out and nothing that they can put their hands through. As Nathan Marciani, the younger Marciani brother, coming into the attack to take over for Big Bro. Nathan hasn't bowled much this season. He's been having a few issues with his back throughout. So supposedly he was whistling and past a few people's ears at training on Thursday afternoon, so obviously that's enough for his Big Bro to say, all right, let's throw you the ball in the grand final.
So it's the back issue. How long's that been annoying him for?
It's been an ongoing thing for him since he was a young fella coming through junior cricket and grade when he was playing up in Sydney. He always sort of had this ongoing back issue, and then this year, just I guess because we've got a fair bit of depth in our fast bowling ranks, it twinged early on in the season, and they just said, you know what, let's take the time and get this right. We've got enough bowlers here to work with. So
thank God he can bat.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I don't think he'd be told to stop bowling if he couldn't bat. That'd be for sure.
So after 4 overs, we have Northern Districts at none for 10. They've just picked up another single. But after 4 overs, Helensburgh were 2 for 19. So they did lose some early wickets, but then they got themselves back on track through Hayden McRae and Christian Lewis, a 49-run partnership to finish at 5 for 101. So wickets are crucial in any game of cricket, but today we've seen wickets have been very, very important, and absolute partnerships are a must.
Yeah, I think the key for Helensburgh there was they almost double the score at the same time. If you have got someone to steady the ship, it's not a sin to really go hard early, whereas I think the Butchers were a little more circumspect with their batting depth early, and they really want to put something together with these guys, and they'll probably be hoping for the opportunity soon before it slips away.
Picking up a few runs through that corridor, Sean.
Yeah, just a little bit too much width here at the start of Nathan's over, just letting him sort of run it down to that third man region. We saw his big brother Ben and Luke Faulkner just really keeping that tight off-stump line that didn't give any width to use the pace of the ball. So Nathan just needs to straighten up a little bit here, but it's not getting too far away. Northern Districts going at a little under 3 runs and overs, so the Tigers are doing everything right at this moment. They're putting the pressure on.
Nathan Marciani, third bowler used this afternoon for the Tigers from the City end. Done. Oh, direct hit. Foot was back. Umpire pretty convinced that there was no need to even think about it. We might get a Johnson legal replay on that just to see how tight it was, because to pick up Dunn by virtue of a brilliant piece of fielding like that, when you weren't going for a run, would be massively beneficial for Helensburgh.
And they're the sort of things that can turn games too. A little wicket like that and all of a sudden the momentum shift and away you go.
Nathan Marcianti again. To Dunn, he's caught on the pads. He was well forward. I can't see the finger going up there.
No, long
Bats
way
out
in
of his
front.
crease too.
Yeah, it was a long way down the track there. It would have been a brave man to give that one, I think.
Probably a frustrating start here for Lachlan Dunn. We've highlighted that he likes to get away early and likes to score quickly, but he's playing a very patient innings here, which, whether it's the occasion that's making him be a little bit more tentative, but it's not a bad thing either. He's not giving away his wicket easily. He's not doing anything stupid. Let himself work into the innings, and you know what? He's going to get chances, I'm sure, if he sticks in there.
Didn't beat the fielder that time.
Tied over, 5 overs gone.
None for 13.
And Stephen Bunning, the left arm Irishman, coming into the attack for the Tigers for the first time. Been a real good addition to the club this year. He's got a lot of good quality cricket history and experience, so he brings a good cricket brain as well as a lot of ability to the club, and we've looked after him quite well, found him a nice little beachside apartment that he can stay in, and I'm sure he's loving every minute of his time in Australia.
Got to love the Illawarra.
Yeah, we found him a nice little spot up in Cronulla, actually.
Oh.
Right next to Cronulla Beach with one of the other blokes that is associated with the club. So
Does
he's
he
got
need to
a
bring his visa to get into Helensburgh for training?
Oh, yeah, we check his passport every time he comes in. Give him a bit of grief. But no, he's been good. He's enjoying his time here, talking about possibly staying on afterwards and enjoying the Australian lifestyle. And why wouldn't you? I hope we don't have any Irish viewers, but I know I'd much rather the Australian sun than the Irish dank, dark, horrible, cloudy, miserable weather. That's just me.
I don't think you'll have many arguments.
He's hoping he hasn't told all his mates back in Ireland to get up and watch this, though.
Well, if they can play cricket, come to this part of the world, boys. Bunting to Dunn. He's being very cautious, Dunn.
Most definitely. He'd be itching to get one of the big shots in, open the shoulders up and get away into his more natural style of play.
After 5 overs, Helensburgh were 2 for 23.
Yeah, a little less runs, but wickets in hand still for Northern Districts. If they can get past this early 6 over mark with wickets in hand, the field moves out and they can start ticking that scoreboard over a little bit more.
Certainly a vocal crowd here at North Dalton Park.
Yeah, Ryan Morris there at short mid-wicket getting compared to one of Balgownie first-grade players, Jamie Fleming. A lot of people often consider them to be long-lost twin brothers.
Do you reckon that there was a few words exchanged there between Bunting and Dunn just then?
Definitely did look like it. I'm not sure what came out. I think it might have been Salakis at the non-strikers, and he definitely walked over towards him and was waved back fairly emphatically by a few Berg players.
Means a lot to both these clubs to try and win this first grade 2020 premiership, and Dunn gets it away. They'll come back for 2. They're very, very quick, Dunn and Salakis. They can make something out of nothing from their speed.
That'd probably be the feeling he'd be looking for, the ball on the willow, getting it over the infield.
Just straying a little bit from that off-stump line that the Tigers have worked really hard to hold there. Just swinging into his pads. Dunn walks and just falls short.
Ooh. Backing up, they'll come back for a second. The Tigers caught out there, but it was worth the throw.
Yeah, if you can get a crucial wicket like that, it's worth a throw. Just a little bit of inattention, and Ben Marciani does have a very strong arm. I've been on the receiving end of backing up a couple of times, and you don't want to cop that on the tip of the knee. So Tom Sinclair just missed out on backing that up, and the extra runs come through for the Butchers.
Certainly wasn't a shot that deserved to. He wasn't far from getting out and then wasn't far from getting run out, but somehow they've managed to get 2 out of it. Those little things can make the difference.
Crowd here just giving a little bit to the players.
Neither team's safe here. I think they're giving it to Tigers and Butchers alike. It doesn't matter who it is.
I'm sure your club's almost the same, Sean, but our club's got a bit of a penchant for sledging their own players as much as other clubs.
It's a lot more fun.
Most definitely.
Can't get in trouble for sledging your own players, can you?
I think it's happened before. Marciani, Nathan, is just putting plenty of diesel on this.
He's absolutely bending his back here, isn't he? I guess he's making the most of his first time back with the ball in a little while. He's getting every ounce of energy that he's built up over it the last couple of months and putting it into these balls. He's not slow, that's for sure. So if he bends his back, he gave a little bit of a grunt after that ball as well. So he's definitely making the effort.
Cheeky little shot there, splits the keeper, and what are we talking, 4th slip?
Yeah, past, I guess we'll call it gully. Past Christian Lewis.
They're definitely working that zone through the gully area. They're playing a lot of late cuts and late shots. It's probably a good sign for Helensburgh that they're not scoring forward of the wicket much yet.
It might just be time for him to... We've heard a little bit about it, that the track's playing a little bit slow and that changes the pace work a little bit. Might be time for Nathan just to roll his fingers down the side of the ball here, or take a little bit off the pace and watch the ball stick in the wicket. Now they're just sort of starting to move it down.
Oh, Dunn dances down, and that's going all the way onto the grass hill. The first 6 of the afternoon here. It's our 3rd T20 final, and Lachlan Dunn, one of the biggest hitters in the game, finally delivers, Rob.
And that's what he's been waiting for and what most of the crowd have been waiting for. One a little bit in the zone into his pads, and he made it look easy. It was a Mark Waugh-esque flick off the pads, and he definitely got hold of it for the maximum.
It's a fair shot. He hasn't just cleared the cones.
Here's the Johnson legal replay. Nathan Marciani has been bowling with plenty of venom this afternoon. Just clobbered it.
Yep. Watch out, those massive spectators out in the big crowd on the hill. Look out.
Don't know what they're doing over there looking into the sun. If they walk around the other side of the ground, they've got shade aplenty.
I was about to say, and the sun's beaming straight on them, no shade from that tree coming from the other side.
No, they'd have to be swimming in the creek.
Nope, they're just hanging out for those catches, obviously.
They might have snuck in the back fence, think they were avoiding an entrance fee.
And Marciani responds to being clobbered for the 6 with a dot ball.
Yeah, that's what you've got to do. The big thing here, when you go for the long distance, you've got to make sure that next ball is absolutely on the money. The last thing you want to do is give up another one, or even just give away an easy single or something like that. You want to let the batsman know that you're here to mean business, and that's not phasing you in the slightest.
Geez, Dunn gets down low.
Most definitely. He crouches right down before watching the ball very closely, but it's an interesting position to try and sort of get some power from.
Very much so.
I'm sure it's going to be a big boost for him, getting that first one right out of the middle and seeing it go all the way, not just clear the boundary, but go right over that fence. It's definitely something that's going to get him into his game here, I'm sure. He's going to back himself a little bit more now that first one's off his back.
Well, the cones would be at least 10 metres in from that white picket fence. Oh, now here's an opportunity. But Salakis might have just had his bat down. We'll check the Johnson legal replay on this because the umpire says not out and passes his cap back to Nathan Marciani. But Salakis, we saw it happen to Dunn earlier, but this was a lot tighter.
Oh,
jeez.
I'm thinking he's probably short there.
I'm thinking he's short as well. I am thinking he is short. I think that's out.
He's definitely dodged a bullet there. I think they're the hardest ones for the umpires with no time to get in position and trying to judge it from behind the stumps, but I think he can definitely count himself lucky there.
Yeah, Salakis certainly has had a life there on that one.
He's got to make the most of that now.
It just makes me think when that happened to Dunn earlier, maybe the Dunn one was closer than what we thought, because we're some distance away now. Johnson legal replay is great, but there's still a fair amount of distance.
Yeah, absolutely. So, geez, the Tigers, I'm sure, obviously they can't see the replays right now, but they'll
be livid if they saw that.
Absolutely, they would. So, you can't begrudge the umpires there. It's a 50-50 call live. As we said, he doesn't have much time to move and get into the right position there. But Salakis really got to make the most of that now. He can't go throwing away his wicket. And the Tigers have got to continue to search for that first one, break this partnership.
He has struggled to score a little bit early, so the Tigers might not be smarting too much from it, but if he does hit his stride, they'll definitely rue that.
And it's not one of those ones where, you can have situations in cricket where a batsman knows he's out and doesn't walk. There's no way that Salakis would have known.
No, he would have had no idea at all.
I mean, there's millimetres in it, and we're looking at a replay from a distance as well, but the video evidence suggests that he might have been a couple of millimetres short there.
Yeah, and big games like this, grand finals, it's little things like that. It comes down to a game of inches, whether it's getting run out or a ball just going past a fielder's hand, or even just missing the bat and taking to the top of your stump. So, short game like this, things like that, they seem to come back and pay off. So we'll see if that comes into fruition for Northern
Big
Districts.
Appeal, and umpire says not out, and Salakis survives what should have been a run out to leg by.
And in a similar vein, the Tigers won't worry too much. It's not like a caught behind that they knew was out, and they won't be frustrated about it.
They
probably
won't know the answer.
Yeah, but if they saw the replay, the mindset might change a little bit.
Well, Helensburgh boys, when you watch our TV Sports coverage powered by Johnson Legal later tonight, maybe, we are feeling your frustration, because it did appear to be out and done. Hooks that just for a single low-risk play, because he didn't hit it hard enough. He knew that there was a fielder down here. But yeah, Helensburgh, when they see that back on the replay watching this coverage, Sean, they will be cranky.
Yeah, I'm sure they will be, and I guess it all comes down to what the final result is, as well as to how they feel about it. I'm sure that it won't get to them too much if they walk away here with a medal around their neck and a trophy in the clubhouse. But another tight one.
Very tight.
They're pushing their lucky Northern Districts, but you got to run quick, and you got to find those singles where you can.
And Dunn's the wicket they want.
Most definitely. I think they're trying to put some pressure on the field, but risking their wickets in the process. I think that would have been out as well if that had have hit.
No reward if you don't take a risk.
Most definitely.
So the Irishman again, bunting from the Taraji end. Dunn gets a little bit of bat on that, works that corridor again. It is, Rob.
Most definitely. That's where they're definitely choosing to score when they can't get these good balls away, so they're trying to work them through there, and that's the first time they've really beaten the field, but 2 runs is fairly crucial every over here.
Yeah, that's none for 34 after 8. That's an 8-run over that over. That's a very, very handy over as they chase 102 for victory.
They've suddenly snuck up to over 4 and over, which was looking a long way away probably 4 overs ago.
It was. If you're just joining us, earlier today, the Butchers won the toss. They elected to bowl. And Northern Districts need 69 runs off 72 balls as they chase 102 for victory. Yeah, earlier it was a trio of wickets to Josh Colmer for Thurul, and Ralston picked up a wicket as well. There was a run out of bunting. In Helensburgh, they were 2 for 19 at one stage, and they recovered from 5 for 52 to finish at 5 for 101 after a 49-run partnership between McRae and Lewis. McRae getting his half century.
So a bit of introduction of spin into the attack here. We've got Tom Sinclair coming on. Absolutely crucial spell he had in the semi-final. Came on and took 3 wickets for only 7 runs off his 4 overs and changed the entire complexion of that game. Probably the player of the match there, just for those 4 overs, in my opinion. Tom's going to do his job well. He can bowl his lines all day, every day. He'll pitch it up. He'll bowl it flat. Although he's given it a little bit of air there.
Fruit. Seriously, I reckon Dunn thought he was in Stanthorpe for a second.
He's going absolutely lucky there, Sinclair.
Dodged a bullet to only give away a single from that was a miss hit. Do you think Dunn thought, I cannot believe my luck?
I think his eyes lit up and he had it over the fence before he'd even played the shot then.
Considering the 6 that he hit before, which was a much more difficult shot, that was a bit of fruit there from Sinclair, and he recovers well.
It's often the turning point of these T20 matches, the introduction of a spinner. They can tie it down or they can go for a lot of runs. There's never much in between.
Salaka slaps it downtown.
But we can even see from the field placement that Marciani's put for Sinclair. He's got a lot of trust in his spinner here. Only using 4 men going out now for Dunn, but still not using the full complement of their fielders that they can have out, and only 3 for Salakas before. So backing Sinclair here and his ability.
He's got a lot of pressure with his fielders on the offside too.
Absolutely. So he's going to stick to that offside line. He's shown it there. He's gone nice and wide there. Not going to give too much for him to get through to that leg side. So if Dunn can manage to hit against the spin and over the top of the offside, good on him. Go for it. As he's tried there.
A couple of plays and misses there for Dunn, and you can see that with his swinging with some vigour there.
Most definitely. I think he's probably still regretting that full toss that he didn't put away and was trying to cash in later in the over to make up for it.
None for 37, so just 3 runs off that over. It was a tight one from Sinclair.
Yeah, good start from him. He knows exactly what he needs to do in this game. He's been a bit of a trump card. Helensburgh's leading T20 wicket taker across all grades since the T20 competition has started, Sinclair. So going to show that spin does play a big part in this game, and he's stood up in all of our previous big games in the T20 format. So bunting's going to continue and hopefully keep up the pressure that Sinclair's built at the other end.
Plenty of cricket fans enjoying a beautiful afternoon here at North Dalton Park. We got Bunting continuing transmission from the Taraji end. Almost at the halfway mark. Northern Districts are going to have to get a bit of a move along soon. I know that they haven't lost a wicket yet, but they're still going to have to get a move along.
Most definitely. On this outfield, I think trying to score it more than 6 and over is a gargantuan task, especially against this attack.
Yeah, singles aren't going to do it for him here, although it does keep the scoreboard going over and sets you up a little bit later on. I'm sure they'll be looking to try and hit the boundary rope or clear the fence sometime soon to relieve a little bit of pressure off themselves.
And Dunn back on strike.
On his pads, it's gone. It's going long. He's kept it outside that off-stump bunting.
And how would you rate his pace, Sean? That seemed to carry through pretty well to the keeper on a reasonably slow wicket.
Yeah, he's pretty sharpish. We were a bit surprised when he first turned up. He's not the tallest of guys. He's not short. He's not overly tall like some of our other fast bowlers, but he really whips it through. And with good pace, the thing that he does best, he's got great shape. He has this really, really late swing. I've seen him in action in one of the games, and he just wraps blokes on the pads for
That could
fun.
go all the way for 4. And it does. And that is a very handy boundary.
Yeah, just a little bit too much width there from Bunting. Let Dunn free his hands and just slap it through that backward point region.
Yeah, and he certainly looked like he got hold of that one. It still only crawled to the boundary. You definitely got to get the ball in the middle of the bat to get your value for runs here.
So let's see how he responds here. He's got to tighten up his line, you'd think. Get back towards that off stump here.
Hooks it, but it'll only be for a single.
Not the worst reply. Definitely got the miss hit with that ball.
Yeah, as we were just saying, he's a bit elusive. He's just hurried that ball on there a little bit shorter, and it's gone on to Dunn a little bit quicker than he probably expected. You can hear a little bit of talk from Ryan Morris out there trying to G the Tigers up and rally the troops, get them behind. It's hit a bit of a lull for the Tigers, not too much energy at the moment.
And that could be another boundary. Salakis, he timed it well. It's just a question of whether or not it'll go all the way for 4, and no, it's cut just short. That there, if you're just joining us on our Bar TV sports coverage of the Cricket Illawarra T20 Grand Final Day, just goes to show you that eastern side boundary is a lot slower than the western side. You've really got to smack it to make sure it gets there.
Yeah, Faulkner's put in the hard yards there, chased it down as hard as he can, and he's been really helped out by that slow east side.
And a good sign for Salakis too. That's really the first ball he's hit with any venom in front of the wicket.
It looks as though he's just going to support Dunn here, but Dunn hasn't had many opportunities of like rubbish balls. The Tigers haven't bowled much rubbish.
No, definitely not. Other than the one off his pads, he's really had to force the shots that he has got away.
You've been impressed by the Tigers' performance with the ball. I mean, they've got no wicket, Sean, but the way they bowled against a very, very good opening combination.
Yeah, absolutely. They've stuck to their game plan. They've obviously come out with very intent and purpose to hit the top of that off stump and just stick to that line. We've seen the short, nice, tight offside field they've got packed here for both bowlers at each end. So they've done a good job of executing their game plan. It's just a matter now, get that one breakthrough and the game changes completely. The bit of confidence for the boys, and it'll just show them that their hard work's paying off. As a fully from Sinclair there is just going to result in one down and a long on.
So Northern Districts chasing 102 for victory. They're none for 47. And we are into the 11th over.
Certainly in the balance, isn't it? The next couple of overs are ultra important for both sides.
Well, wickets are the key here because around this mark, Helensburgh were 4 down for about 50 runs. So that just goes to show that the Butchers have got plenty of wickets in hand. But I suppose the question is, Rob, if you lose Salakis and Dunn, how is the depth?
There's definitely guys who can score runs at similar rates to Salakis. I think they'd really be hoping to keep Dunn in there for maybe another 4 or 5 overs at least, so he gets the opportunity to play strokes. Reynolds is in next. He seems to score fairly well, and the same with Justin Brancato, who's batting 4.
Yeah, Brancato, quality behind the stumps too.
Yeah, he's certainly sort of been thrust in the position Joshua Coleman was keeping in the last couple of years. And
Directed he was gone then.
He's always had a fairly safe set of hands, and he can definitely hit the ball well too. He could definitely probably make the side as a batsman if he wasn't keeping.
Another direct hit and that would have been out.
Yeah, good fielding there from Ben Marciani, one of the faster throwers in this Helensburgh side. He's a good quality short fielder.
But there's a fielder there. They'll come back for 2.
It's good placement there, just hitting to either side, and you see with this slow outfield, if you get it to either side of these boundary riders, there's 2 on all day, every day.
Northern Districts chasing their 3rd premiership success on this Cricket Illawarra T20 Grand Final Day. Their 4th victorious early today, their 2nd victorious. And Dunn slaps that, and that could be a 6. And it is. It's his 2nd of the afternoon. Lachlan Dunn getting it done here at North Dalton.
Yeah, absolutely just slapped that straight, picked it perfectly between the long on and long off fielder there. Sinclair maybe just giving a little bit too much flight there. Dunn used his feet and just monstered it all the way down flat. Good comeback though.
Yep, another single. This has been a fortuitous over.
Oh, definitely. This is what they need. And he just got enough of that shot because another 2 metres shorter and he'd probably be on his way back to the pavilion. But they're the ones you need to get, and it makes a big difference to the over.
13 runs off it. Johnson legal replay. Dunn's big 6. Longest boundary on the field. He hit another one over to the eastern side earlier in his innings.
It's testament to the way he's batted this season that no one else has hit a 6 all day, and he's already hit 2 in his innings.
Yep.
He's
not a big unit either.
Most definitely not. No, he relies a lot on his timing.
We've got the elder statesman of the Helensburgh Cricket Club, the club president, Tim Lloyd, coming into the attack for the first time. Lloydie done the job for the Tigers and in the Illawarra competition for many a year, so Tigers going to their experience here, hoping that he's going to change it up and take a wicket to maybe get done out before he starts getting red hot here.
And there was nothing worse in the early days of the turf wicket at Helensburgh when it had been moved from Gibson Park than facing Tim Lloyd on that. You absolutely no hope. You're going to wear them everywhere.
Yeah, our paddock at Helensburgh Oval, definitely a lot bowler friendly in the older years from what I understand. It's improved in the last couple of seasons, but the Helensburgh Tigers bowling stocks have loved playing at home for years and years, and I'm sure Tim Lloyd's records have been easily helped by playing on that deck.
You can see the experience too from Lloyd, because he's really taken his time to get his field placings right here, and he's still calling shots. Like, he's being very, very particular, because the game is in the balance right now. Northern Districts, they've lost no wickets. They need something, the Tigers.
Yeah, Lloydie knows exactly what he wants. Is nice little quick single from Dunn in there. Yeah, Lloydie
still pointing where he wants people.
Yeah, he's a man who knows exactly what he wants. He's captained the side in the past before, and whenever he's obviously a senior head in the team, and he's going to get his way. There's no doubt about that. He even came on the other day in a second grade game down at Dapto, and he just came on to help us out in the field, but all of a sudden, next minute, there's Lloydie running the show. So, no, the experience is much appreciated, obviously. It's good that he's still so keen on his cricket. Still a young man, only in his early to mid-30s, so he still thinks he's got a bit of cricket up his sleeve, but his experience definitely is something that's appreciated by everyone in his team and the club in the entirety.
And I mean, not only the fact that he's been here 1,000 times and does this like clockwork, he's got a bit of an aura, so someone like Salakis would see Lloyd come on.
Good shot from Salakis. That should go all the way to the boundary for 4, and it does. Beautifully timed, pierced the infield. And the skipper following the lead of Dunn.
Yeah, that's probably his trademark shot, the cover drive. He came to the club as a very young fella. He wasn't obviously any shorter than he is now. You can't get any shorter, but he had a lot of years in second grade where he couldn't get the ball off the square. He'd get in position early and just cream those shots, and they wouldn't roll off the square, but he's certainly grown into his body over the last few years.
Now just a drop and run for a single. It's clever cricket.
Most definitely. I mean, the temptation after you hit a boundary is to go for another one, but both Dunn and Salakis in the last 2 overs have followed it up with a quick single and turned it over for the other guy to have a go.
Yeah, Tigers definitely need a wicket now. The Northern Districts, their run rate's creeping up here, getting close to 6 runs and over, or a little bit under anyway. So wicket time is absolutely crucial for the Tigers. Break this partnership and we change the game.
And again, it's easy pickings there for Northern Districts with the way that they run for those quick singles. I mean, Helensburgh really can't defend against that.
No, there's not much you can do when you're starting to push the field back a little bit with a little bit of harder hitting and balls tending to go to the boundary. Your field moves back, and that's good, smart batting, realising that the blokes on the ring aren't as close as they once were and making the most of it, dropping and going.
Certainly, Lloyd took the pace off that delivery.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, just his cricket IQ coming into it there. He's bowled for a long time at the highest level, played up in Sydney Grey before, so he knows what needs to be done, and he knows his game, very well. So slowing it up a little bit there, and ball just worked down to the short third man there.
7 off the over. Chasing 102 for victory. The Butchers, none for 66. They've got to be starting to feel a bit of confidence with no wickets down.
They're definitely a lot closer to where they'd like to be now. You look at the 10 over, at their 5 over zone, and they would have been nowhere near it. But now they'd be definitely hovering around a place where they'd be comfortable.
On the comparison, Rob, Helensburgh were 5 for 52 at this point. And this is where, you're probably thinking, okay, so the rule are a long way ahead, but this is where McRae and Lewis steadied the ship for Helensburgh, and they put on 49 runs, an unbeaten 49-run partnership. So there's still a bit of cricket to be played here, but at the moment, you'd have to think that the rule have got the momentum.
Yeah, they're probably just in front and change bowling. They've gone to Christian Lewis here with his medium paces. That's a great throw from the boundary. But yeah, a little loosener there from Chris Lewis, panhead. Just straight on the pads of Dunn, and he wasn't able to get it away to that slow boundary. But yeah, Tigers looking for a wicket here.
A few hands on hips from the Tigers too.
Yeah, body language is waning a little bit. Not as much talk out there as well. It's a good comeback ball there from Christian Lewis, just hitting the block hole. But yeah, the Tigers, they need something that's going to pep them up, and the wicket's what they need there. Lift those spirits a little bit, get them back in this game.
And the key after that will be to see how both sides react to a wicket. Like the bowling momentum, that it can put a lot of a fillip into a side who are trying to get back into the match, and then the pressure on the batting side.
Done. Oh, it's a boundary. It was a good effort in the deep from the Tiger.
That's a great diving effort there. I think it's Jared Fitzgerald, the specky taker from before, that's out there. Sorry, no, my mistake. Nathan Marciani out there. It's a great effort from him, but Dunn manages to find the boundary once again.
Certainly no easy task with the three men out there trying to thread the needle, but he's managed to do it just.
Yeah, he's backing himself, and why wouldn't you?
Oh, again, he bats forward.
Yeah, just walking a little bit there at Lewis, and Christian firing it in his pads, not giving him any width or any sort of length.
Johnson legal replay of that impressive boundary and impressive fielding effort out there in the deep. Hey, look, you put your body on the line. It's grand final day.
Yeah, exactly. There's nothing to be left out here, that's for sure.
Oh, Dunn miscued that one.
He definitely looks like he's getting a little bit slap happy now. I guess he feels that he's in the zone and it's probably his time to go. It'll be a good test of his cricketing maturity. Still reasonably young, and they'll want him there at the end. They won't want to lose him in this sort of situation. They'll want a few more runs on the board before he departs.
Well, he's doing a very good job. In fact, these two openers, they've weathered the storm because Helensburgh bowlers have been reasonably impressive. They've done exactly what they needed to do. They just couldn't take a wicket.
Yeah, they just haven't taken that wicket yet. In these last few overs, they've just strayed a little bit from the plan, I think. A few too many full balls, a little bit more width, attacking the pads probably a little bit too much, and just giving Salakis and Dunn a few more balls that they can attack a little bit more. Again, another full toss, but dot ball to cover. Oh, another direct hit would have been very, very interesting.
Yep, it would have been.
I don't think he had his bat down, then that could have been another chance for a wicket. They only need one of these to sort of turn the game on its head. It's been 3 or 4 chances now that could have easily been a wicket.
7 runs again off that over, so the last 3 overs have produced 21 runs.
And that's been the big point of the game. It really has gone from 4.5 and over straight up to the required run rate and up around a run a ball, which is a massive difference heading for the stretch.
Chasing 102 for victory. Northern Districts, they're none for 73 after 13 overs. Earlier, Colmer took 3 wickets. Ralston 1 as Helensburgh managed to post 5 for 101. Half century from Hayden McRae. Christian Lewis supported well in an unbeaten 49-run partnership. This will fall safely. And a little bit of a spinning break as well.
So Ryan Morris, the pig, being brought into the attack here with his off-spinners. Going to their wicket taker. Maury's taken some wickets in this T20 format. He's usually a bit of a game breaker here, someone they can go to try and get that breakthrough. So let's see if he can do it there. Rank half-tracker he's probably going away with and nearly got a wicket out of that first ball, but now it's time for him to show us what he can do and see if he can get something happening here for the Tigers.
8th bowler for Marcianti.
Yeah, he likes changing it up, keep them guessing. Don't let the batsman get into too much of a rhythm, I guess, and when you're chasing that one wicket, you're going to exhaust all your options to try and find where it's going to come from. As it's punched down, they're only just going to take the one. No need for an unnecessary push there. A bit ahead of the run rate here, so ND is probably just thinking they can cruise a little bit here now.
Yeah, well, after 13 overs, Northern Districts were none for 73. And on comparison, the Tigers were 5 for 57.
That's the big difference, the
They're
wickets,
well
isn't it? I mean, if they do need to put the accelerator to the floor after they've lost 1 or 2 wickets, they've still got plenty in the bank, Northern Districts, and that's probably the difference here, where the Tigers were risking sort of losing everything just to score a few more runs at the same stage.
Wickets in the bank, that's the big thing, isn't it? 10 wickets in hand here for the Butchers, so there's a bit more licence to have a bit of a dig. As a nice little paddle sweep there from Salakis. Christian Lewis chasing it down hard. They should only get 2.
And Salakis probably the better player of the spin out of the two. He uses his feet really well. He doesn't try to hit the ball too hard, whereas it could be a danger time for Dunn. He could easily lose his wicket trying to put it over the fence.
Morris just struggling a little bit with his length here. Salakis just getting down that knee, happy to paddle around the corner and take that single.
If anything, they shouldn't be scared to be running that first run harder. They're really in a groove of walking it, and then there's probably the opportunity to put pressure on the fielders a couple of times here, and it could be the vital runs at the end that make the difference.
Dunn, his eyes lit up on that one, and that's another 6. That's his third of the innings. And boys, he got his eye in now.
Yeah, he's having a go. He knows his area, knows his balls, and he's going after him when he sees them. That's 50 for him.
Yep, well played, Lachlan Dunn. Raises the blade.
That's over 300 runs in this competition for him, and he's certainly got the rewards of some good form this season. This is more of an indication of how he's played the whole T20 competition.
Johnson, legal replay, and just clears the boundary.
No fear there. Happy to split the two blokes out in the deep. It's when you know you're in good form, when you're happy to pick, okay, I'm going to pick it in this gap.
Is it fair enough to say that they could pretty much pop the champagne corks now?
I probably wouldn't go that far.
Premiership victory out of 4 grand final. Sean, is that a little concede there?
Oh, it's not a concede. You'll never concede. The boys are going to compete right to the last, but there's no denying that MDs are in the box seat. Yeah, absolutely. It's going to take something special here from the Tigers. So Captain Marciani decides that's something special, bringing himself back on into the attack.
Good call. He bowled well early. He
did.
Bowled very well.
He's probably been the tightest of the Helensburgh bowlers. Really nailed his line early on. So if you can rattle the stumps a couple of times here, who knows what happens. But Salakis happy to take that out to point.
I mean, I know that I'm probably calling it a little bit earlier, and you two are representing your respective clubs, so you want to be very, very careful. But I just can't see Northern Districts losing it from here. I mean, an 86-run opening stand. They've got 10 wickets in hand, chasing 102. They've got plenty of balls in hand. Barring a miracle, and Helensburgh are capable of anything. But you've got the fact that Thurul are chasing their first bit of silverware in a very long time. You've got the fact that their fourths have won, their seconds have won, and they're looking to make it 3 out of 3 today. And then I look at Helensburgh and think, they're such a quality team. They were here last year. I thought that they were going to win last year, and Corrimal got them. So I feel from it, they get this far, and then it just sort of gets taken away from them.
Yeah, it's obviously a little bit deflating for the fellas. They know that they're such a good team, and they know that everyone else in the competition respects them and knows the quality that they have, and just this final hurdle just seems to keep getting him as Dunn slaps it down straight.
Does he come back for the third? I reckon he will. He will come back for 3 here, running to the danger end, and he'll do it easy in the end.
Yeah, and that's just good quality running. They've took off real hard, as we were talking about just before. Take that first run nice and hard and put the pressure on the fielders, and it's resulted in 3 runs for him. And only 13 to get now for NDs, with plenty of balls to spare.
And I think the way they ran those, that they can smell the victory themselves. And one of the often things that are said is, if you think you're in a comfortable position, add 2 wickets and see how you are then. And I think they'd still be fairly happy with 2 for 89 with 5 and a bit overs to go.
Yep, I absolutely agree with you, Rob. It's been an intriguing afternoon of cricket. I mean, Thurul, they started very slowly, none for 15 after 5, but these two have got their eyes in, and particularly Lachlan Dunn has really grabbed this grand final, and he's run with it.
Yeah, absolutely. We highlighted very early on in this game that the ND's opening pair were probably the key to Northern Districts winning it today, and their opening stand of 89 so far has really got them in the perfect position for them to lift their first silverware in a little while, the first grade side.
Marciani bowls to Salakis, who just drops and runs for another single, and that has been a common theme all afternoon.
Yeah, it just looks all too easy at the moment, doesn't it? Because that's all they need now. There has to be more pressure, but it's hard for the Berg. They can't really bring everyone in with Dunn out there, because there'd be only 3 shots and it could all be over.
Yeah, a little disappointing to see a few hands on hips and heads sort of dropping now from the Tigers. Our boys are known for fighting right till the end and going through. I know that it might seem a bit of a foregone conclusion, but you know what, you got to take something out of today, whether it's 1 wicket or 2 wickets that you might take with you. At least you walk off this field a little bit with your heads held high, and at the end of the day, you're grand finalists. Runners up isn't the worst thing in the world, but 2 years in a row making it to the final and falling at this final hurdle, it's definitely going to sting for the fellas out there.
Well, I think one thing that they should absolutely take away from it is the way that Ben Marciani and Luke Faulkner and even Stephen Bunting too. Let's throw their 4 frontline bowlers in the mix. The way that they bowled, particularly to Dunn, I thought was ultra impressive. The guy's a good batsman.
Absolutely. It took him a long time. It was a while before we saw him finally sort of open up and get a boundary. He's got 3 sixes now, but it took a while for him to get going, and he sort of scratched around. They kept him just prodding out and getting a lot of dot balls on him early on, so they did a good work early. It's just these fellas have worked their way in, respected their wicket, and this is where they are.
So in the 2-day competition, this is good recon. Should they meet again?
Yeah, absolutely. We see a lot of each other of all the clubs throughout the year. You see them at least twice a year, so seeing them in this format also is going to give them a little bit of a heads up for knowing what we need to do next time. If we face Northern Districts again, I think we might not see them again, but if it gets to finals time... Yeah, they're sitting in the bottom half of the ladder, but it's quite sitting in 3rd at the moment. So, but it's quite tight in that first grade competition. It's, while it might seem that the first sort of top 4 teams are a little bit ahead, it's a little bit of a logjam for that 4th spot. So, you never know what might happen.
That opening spell from the Berg bowlers, I mean, that shows you why they were the most consistent and the most dominant side in this competition this year. And I think it would have brought many sides undone with the frustration that they were bringing the batsmen early on.
So the Berg have gone to Jared Fitzgerald here, changing up the 9th bowler that they've used today. A lot of all-rounders in this Helensburgh side, Jared one of them, so they come to him, maybe take a little bit of pace off the ball. He's very true in his line, likes bowling nice and straight, so you never know. You've got to try everything. Throw everything you can at him, and who knows what might come up here. Field in nice and tight on that offside. They're not going to let him just dob it in here and run away for a quick single. But they will let him flick it over the top of square leg and run away for 4.
And Salakis won't miss the opportunity to cash in here. He'd still, even though he hasn't scored overly fast, he'd still have his eye in by now, and if anyone strays, he's been waiting for a few loose balls all day, and he will take the opportunity to put them away, especially with the field in.
Well, Lachlan Dunn take a bow because just 5 runs required for victory here, and Northern Districts are going to canter home now.
They've made it look pretty easy in there, haven't they? They looked like they were way behind the 8 ball after 5 or 6 overs, and they just put on a couple of double figure overs, which make the difference in these games.
Pick up another single there.
A little bit of a misfield there from Christian Lewis down at short 3rd man. And
yeah, but you know what? He needs to give himself a pat on the back because he batted very, very well with Hayden McRae earlier when the Tigers were well and truly up against it. An unbeaten 49-run stand. Great effort.
Absolutely. Christian and Hayden putting in the effort and getting us towards this competitive total. It's not quite enough, it seems, but at least it put the boys in the game where at the start it wasn't looking too promising. With a shot at the stumps, and it's going to go for overthrows, and this might even be close to tying it up. No, they're only going to come back for 2.
Look, you know what? The Tigers, they're not going to die wondering with their shies at the wickets. I mean, if they had 2 of those opportunities hit, this is a different ball game.
Exactly.
Dunn and Salakis would have been gone.
Most definitely, and they've presented them the opportunities, and they've only been a whisker away on a couple of times, and one decision could have gone the other way, as we know, and that could have made a huge difference.
Oh, he sends him back, and that was the right call there from Salakis. Dunn wanted to get it on, and he skidded a little bit.
Probably the main compliment for these 2 batsmen has been their maturity. A lot of batsmen would have lost their head early with that pressure. And
after they were pegged down at none for 15 after 5?
Yeah, most definitely, and that's where the Helensburgh probably take most of their wickets.
Yep, and that will be it. Lachlan Dunn will hit the winning runs as they come back for 2, and that is an emphatic 10-wicket victory for the Northern Districts Butchers. Their first Illawarra 2020 crown in the 10th year of the competition. It's their 5th straight win. They've been in a purple patch of form, and their first grade victory ices the cake on what is an historic day for the Northern Districts Cricket Club, because earlier they won the 4s. Their seconds were victorious over Kira, and now their first grade team, led by Lachlan Dunn and Matt Salakis, has completed an emphatic 10-wicket victory over the Helensburgh Tigers. Rob, this is a huge outcome.
Most definitely, yeah, and it is. It's just rewards for Lachlan Dunn. He has been at the forefront of all their wins in recent times, as well as the rep team. He had some big scores in the T20 side there, and often a final like this presents an unlikely hero, but it went completely to script for Dunn here.
It did, a big unbeaten half-century, and Sean, well, we've talked about the Tigers' performance. They started very well with the ball, but these two batsmen, once they get in, they're very tough to get out.
Yeah, it's tough to beat quality batting, isn't it? Just these two just grabbed the game by the throat very early on. They settled themselves in, set themselves up, and yeah, they've gone on with it. And great effort by the Butchers. Huge credit to them. It was a great game. They've played well. They did well to keep the Tigers to only 100 and give themselves every chance, and their batsmen have gone out and absolutely done their job. So well done to the Butchers. They've deserved this win today, and the Tigers boys can hold their heads up high. They've put in a good effort. It's maybe 2 years in a row as runners-up, but you know what? It's better than coming last in the competition 2 years in a row.
Yep, and you know what? They got this far, and they'll be better for the experience next time round, because the way the Helensburgh Tigers play their cricket, I wouldn't be surprised if we're sitting here calling them again next summer. Look, their bowlers, Marcianti, Ben, Luke Faulkner, Nathan Marcianti and Stephen Bunting, they bowled really, really well. Their other part-timers couldn't get the breakthroughs that were required. A brilliant batting display by Lachlan Dunn, an unbeaten half-century, and ably supported by skipper Matt Salakis. In the end, Northern District's 10-wicket victors. They were chasing 102 for victory. They did it none down, and it is their first bit of silverware in this competition in the 10 years of it, and a huge afternoon. Victory in the fourths, the seconds, and now the firsts, and Rob, they are going to celebrate long into the night.
Yeah, 3 from 3, and Thurul Bowling Leagues and Recreation Club will be bouncing tonight, and they've probably really taken notice of the conditions today. There weren't easy conditions to play in out there, though. It was a lot slower outfield than it might have looked, and the pitch, and they definitely went to school and done their homework and come out and used the facilities well to get the total. Made it look relatively easy in the end, when it definitely wasn't, after watching that second grade final.
Rob Shearley from the Northern Districts Cricket Club, Sean Mullally from the Helensburgh Tigers, thank you very much for your opinions and commentary this afternoon.
Pleasure to be here.
Enjoy the rest of your evenings. On behalf of Cricket Illawarra, Bar TV Sports, and of course our broadcast partners Johnson Legal, I'm Travis Swinks. We hope you've enjoyed our coverage from North Dalton Park. For more information, hit up the Cricket Illawarra Facebook page or find them online. Just Google Cricket Illawarra. From North Dalton Park, it's bye for now.